Green Bay Packers take the field here at Lambeau Field, seeking their first victory of the year at home. And they'll go against one of their longtime rivals of the Ice Bowl age back in 1967, the Dallas Cowboys, in the age of the great coaches Vince Lombardi and Tom Landry, as the Cowboys tangle with the Packers. And welcome to Green Bay, everybody. I'm Dick Stockton, along with Troy Aikman, Chris Collinsworth, and Pam Oliver. The Packers and the Cowboys come in with losing records, but they're trying to dig themselves out and get back on track today. And needless to say, this is an urgent game for both teams. And talking to Brett Favre, Troy, he said the win over Detroit last week had the euphoria of winning a Super Bowl game.
Huge win for that team, no question. In fact, they said they celebrated that victory more than they have any other game in quite some time. And they need to keep it going. They have yet to win a game here at Lambeau Field, and as well as their defense played last week, this is still a team that's built around this offense. The running of Ahman Green, the passing of Brett Favre. Last week, Mike Sherman, the head coach, called the offensive plays. He will do that again today, and Brett Favre felt that it really helped with their production, Chris, because he had a lot more input in what they were doing, and I think that they have a chance against a depleted defense in the Cowboys that they could continue with that success.
Yeah, how about them Cowboys on defense? Not quite what they were a season ago. Last year, this defense was the #1 ranked defense in all the National Football League. They created turnovers. They gave the offense good field position. And right now, what you've been getting is just simply the opposite. So today, for the Dallas Cowboys defensively, they just have to start making some plays and make it a little bit easier on their offensive team.
And Chris, despite the fact that they lost those 2 home games, Bill Parcells has encouraged his team. He said, if we can get by 4-4 at the midseason mark, we could be on our way. And we want to remind you to check on your fantasy team and how they're doing. Text message 63504 on your singular wireless phone, or log on to foxsports.com. The Cowboys winning the toss, and they'll get the ball first. And there is Ryan Longwell ready to kick off, and we're many years removed from the Ice Bowl, and we have balmy temperatures today, 55 degrees at game time. And the Packers and the Cowboys are underway. And it'll be Rashard Lee and Quincy Morgan. And Quincy Morgan, the newest member of the Cowboys, who just joined them this week, coming over from the Cleveland Browns in a trade for Antonio Bryant. And Vinny Testaverde, who has had a pretty good season so far as we look at the Dallas offense. And they've moved the ball well, but they have not run the ball well.
Well, that's been one of their problems, Dick. There's no question. They have moved the ball well between the 20s, but they have been unable to be very efficient once they've gotten in the red zone scoring touchdowns.
And they'll start on the 20-yard line. Testaverde, who turns 41 next month, and will throw on first down, getting some pressure, and he finds Eddie George out of the right backfield, and George may have enough for the first down with Niall Diggs making the tackle. The Packers with a big defensive effort last week against Detroit, and the nose tackles are healthy, Chris.
Yeah, it really is going to be a major factor to get Grady Jackson back in the lineup for this defense. They simply are a different team, at least stopping the run. And I guess the big question, Dick, is which Green Bay Packers defense are we going to see? The one we saw last week against Detroit, or the one from the 3 games before that where they gave up 400 yards a game?
And was that game a mirage? We'll find out. From the 30-yard line, first down, 2 tight end formation, and Eddie George running up the middle and getting good yardage on first down. Picking up about 7 yards with Ahmad Carroll and Mark Roman making the stop.
Eddie George coming into this game averaging 3.4 yards a carry. The Cowboys would certainly like to see more production out of him, along with the rest of this running game, but this is the type of game that they feel that they may have more production because of the problems that the Packers have had stopping the run against a number of opponents this year. They feel that if they can't run it against this team, they're not going to be able to run it against virtually anybody.
And George gives way to Richie Anderson, who scored a 21-yard touchdown run last week. It'll be 2nd down and 3, and Anderson getting the call, loses a yard on the play, and Grady Jackson makes the impact right off the top, dislocating a kneecap in the opening game of the year.
Well, we've seen Grady Jackson in the past just give this defense a lift. Watch him just come shooting through the line here. And catching the carrier in the backfield, that's the kind of play that if they can get that out of Grady Jackson, it allows them to spread the linebackers a little bit more, not be quite as aggressive with the secondary having to come up. Darren Sharper trying to play the run. It just improves the entire defense.
And not only is Jackson back, so is James Lee, the other nose tackle who was hurt in week 2. So it'll be 3rd down and 4. Testaverde's quick pass caught, and Keyshawn Johnson with the effort getting himself a 1st down beyond the 40-yard line. And our first game break of the afternoon as we check in with James Brown in Los Angeles.
Hey, Dick, it's been a dogfight all afternoon regulation. Back to Dick Stockton.
And a shocker, and the Eagles go in the game undefeated. 1st down from the 41, and Eddie George back in, going off the left tackle, slicing his way for about 7 yards before the strong safety Mark Roman brings him down. Opening series of the game, the Dallas Cowboys, who have never won in Lambeau Field in 4 tries going back to 1967, but they have had success in playing Green Bay, winning 9 of their last 10. 2nd down and 4. Testaverde on the rollout, and the pass incomplete, going for Terry Glenn, who played at Green Bay for a year, and that'll bring up 3rd down.
Yeah, and they go after the rookie Ahmad Carroll. 2 weeks ago, when the Packers played the Tennessee Titans on Monday night, they got after this young player quite a bit. Last week, he performed a little bit better against the Detroit Lions. Here early, the Dallas Cowboys come out with Terry Glenn. They get the one-on-one matchup, but Ahmad Carroll holds up well.
And on 3rd and short, Quincy Morgan lines up to the top of your screen, native of Garland, Texas. Learned the offense in a hurry and is thrust in there in the first series, and the pass dumped off to Richie Anderson. 1st down and driven out of bounds at the 40-yard line of the Packers, picking up 13.
And you go back to the pressure. There really wasn't any here on this play, allowing Vinny Testaverde to look down the field and pick out the open receiver. But for me, this is truly the weakness of this Packers defense. We saw it against the Indianapolis Colts earlier in the year when they came out in the spread formation. You get 5, 6 defensive backs on the field. A true lack of depth in the secondary for the Packers have hurt them all season long.
Cowboys threatened on their first possession of the game. They're on the Green Bay 40, and here is Eddie George, and nothing doing. Trying to test the middle, where the Packers have had problem defending against the runs up the gut. No gain on the play, with Niall Diggs making the stop.
Well, we're already seeing the impact that Grady Jackson is making on this football team there. Dallas tries to run up inside. In previous weeks, teams have had success. They've not had the big man in the game, whether it's him or James Lee. And already on this first drive, Grady Jackson's made a big impact, and he's made plays.
Cowboys trying to get to 500. The Packers 2 games under that mark at 2 and 4. 2nd down and 10. And the slant caught by Keyshawn Johnson and a 1st down. And Al Harris on the stop, 12 yards. Testaverde to Keyshawn Johnson.
Yeah, and this is really what Keyshawn Johnson does very well. He runs a slant route. He does not have great speed, but he has an ability to use his body and catch the ball in traffic. They were playing off him. They gave him a lot of cushion on that play. An easy completion for Vinny Testaverde.
And Troy, this is a test for the Cowboys because, as you mentioned, they moved the ball from 20 to 20, but what do they do now? 10th play of the drive, 1st down at the 28, and the screen pass is tapped at the line of scrimmage by Aaron Campbell.
I'm not so sure if the Dallas Cowboys may just want to dump their screen game. Last week in the ball game against Pittsburgh, Vinny almost threw one for an interception that could have gone the other way. They just aren't very effective dropping back and trying to screen off of that. Down the field really is where the Green Bay Packers are much more vulnerable.
I think Tom Landry was the last successful coach to run a screen for the Cowboys.
It looks good drawing it on the blackboard, but not often on the field.
Play number 11, 2nd and 10. Pass out on the flat to Glenn. And Glenn will be short of about 4 yards of the 1st down as we send it back out to Los Angeles. And another game break with JB.
Cowboys have made it a dogfight all afternoon. Back to Dick Stockton.
It's a day of surprises, guys. How about Miami and St. Louis?
Well, what an upset that game would be if Cleveland goes on to win it.
3rd down and 4. Again, 2 tight ends line up for the Cowboys, and pressure from the secondary, and it's Mark Roman who goes in untouched and gets Testaverde for a loss of 5. And that'll bring up 4th down.
And really, you go back to the game a week ago in the 4th quarter, the Dallas Cowboys could not handle the pressure. They couldn't handle the blitz. It cost them the game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. You come right back in the first key situation of this game, and once again, they fail to pick it up.
So Bill Parcells, trusting Vinny Testaverde, knows that he's not the most mobile of all quarterbacks, really had no chance. And Billy Cundiff will attempt a 46-yard field goal. 2 for 2 last week in the loss to Pittsburgh. And Billy Cundiff's kick is good, and the Cowboys, with an excellent job of ball control, settle for 3, but they quiet the crowd and take a 3-0 lead over the Green Bay Packers on Billy Cundiff's field goal. And Brett Favre will take the field now to see how they answer. He has had his problems. 1-8 lifetime against the Dallas Cowboys, but all 8 losses were in Dallas. Troy, you were part of a lot of those games against Brett.
I was, and there were some great matchups, and a lot of times, more times than not, those games, there was a lot at stake, and playoff games, championship games, and I was fortunate to come out on the winning end of most of those, but since that time, Brett Favre's been on the winning end of most of those, and what a great career he's gone on to have.
So Brett Favre was very pleased with the way the offense went last week, and Troy, you still got a lot of your fans here.
I'm glad they dressed me up for the game, you know.
Well, it looks like you came prepared for the game.
Expensive jacket and shirt underneath.
Got the 12-pack underneath you.
They call that the suitcase, huh?
There you go. Traveling light today.
You got very thin in that shot.
Well, this may be one of the few stadiums where you could get away with bringing a Troy Aikman likeness in here and not have somebody eat you alive. I don't think you'd want to try that in Philadelphia.
Isn't that the truth? These might be the nicest fans of anywhere that we go. It's an amazing scene here at Lambeau, and the fans are a big reason for that.
Troy, what if they did that in Philadelphia? They held up one of those signs.
They wouldn't get through the turnstile.
Here's the kickoff by Cundiff. And Najee Davenport. And Davenport holds on to the ball and fakes an end around and winds up with a pretty good return. Of course, the kick was short, and Davenport returns it 24 yards, and good field position as Brett Favre takes the field, as the Packers will start from the 39-yard line. Brett Favre struggling at home, but on the road is nearly perfect. As you look at the Green Bay Packers offensive unit, it was power football all the way last week.
Well, it was, and this is an offensive line that's played together a long time, with the exception of their center. Of course, Gray Rugemer taking the place of Mike Flanagan, and he's now making his 4th start at center, and he's gotten better each week.
And the handoff to Amon Green. Green coming in with a sore Achilles, did not practice most of the week, and picks up 4 yards on 1st down against the defensive unit. You asked Bill Parcells, Chris, what's wrong with this team? The first 4 items are all about the defensive unit.
Yeah, and I think that's right. Some of their star players are what were supposed to be their star players. Terrence Newman got the big $13 million signing bonus. He hasn't lived up to it. Really got torched against Pittsburgh. Marcellus Wiley, their big free agent pickup this season, really has done next to nothing, and those are some of the guys that need to pick it up.
2nd and 6. Amon Green. And Green will be about 4 yards short of the 1st down. Dat Wynn, the middle linebacker, holding Green to 2 yards.
Yeah, and Dallas comes into this game knowing that they need to be able to stop the running game. A lot of what Green Bay does offensively is built around the play action and the running of Amon Green, and now that they have Najee Davenport, and on that play there, they were able to play coverage. Remember last week they spent a lot of time protecting Tyrone Williams. As a result, Terrence Newman struggled. On that play, they played coverage and were able to still stop the run. That's going to be a key the rest of this game.
Tyrone Williams will be a target for Brett Favre today, the former Packer. 3rd down and 4. And here is Favre. And Favre Javon Walker making the reception. Walker making the catch. And Newman, who was picked on last week, the victim of a 44-yard gain.
Yeah, no question about it. Terrence Newman was the guy that got torched a week ago and probably cost them that game. But Javon Walker now has become one of the big play threats in this league. And I don't care if it's Terrence Newman or Deion Sanders. If you leave Javon Walker one-on-one on the outside, Brett Favre is going to take his shot. And right now he's doing his job, and Terrence Newman is not.
And one of the big problems there, Chris, is that Terrence Newman fails to make contact. He does no collision. He gives him a free release off the ball, and then he doesn't have the speed to keep up with him.
First and goal at the 10. Javon Walker leading the NFL in receiving yards. And time for Brett Favre, and he overthrows Donald Driver. Driver had beaten Tyrone Williams, but the throw wasn't on the mark.
You don't see that very often. You got Donald Driver wide open in the corner of the end zone working off the Tyrone Williams, and Brett Favre, all you've got to do, that's not a difficult throw at all. Just lay it over into the corner, and he comes down with it and just overthrew him. It looked like if Donald Driver had kept running a little bit, which it looks like Brett Favre may have expected him to do, but that should have very easily been a touchdown.
He was looking to the front side, and Javon Walker had to come backside, and I think he just rushed it.
Kevin Barry, the tight end, who comes in number 71 on the U71. The flip goes to Amon Green, and Green diving forward to about the 7-yard line. Roy Williams on the stop as we check in for the first time with Pam Oliver. Hi, Pam.
Hi, Dick. Here's what we know about Amon Green. You mentioned his sore Achilles tendon. Well, the trainers have actually cut out a horseshoe-sized hole in his shoe to try to alleviate some of that pressure. They've also filled it with padding and taped it up pretty well. They're hoping, of course, to help keep their best rusher out on the field.
And hoping he holds on to the ball as well, Pam, because he has fumbled 4 times in the first 5 games. Third down and goal on the 8. And Favre with a pump fake, and the pass is knocked down by Greg Ellis, going out in the flat to the fullback William Henderson, but Ellis held his ground and knocked it down.
Well, and that's what they'll do sometimes. You'll see these defensive ends for the Dallas Cowboys drop off. That time Greg Ellis, instead of rushing the passer, he dropped into coverage, and he was the one who was able to get the hand on the ball. You're going to see Greg, he's right here, and he pulls off of it, and that's how the ball was batted.
Really wasn't going anywhere anyway. The Cowboys had that one pretty well defensed.
Ryan Longwell ties the game with a 26-yard field goal, 3-3. Both teams settling for 3-pointers on their first series, and the Cowboys getting the big 44-yard play to Javon Walker from Brett Favre.
Well, if you're the Dallas Cowboys, you've got to feel pretty good, at least defensively. That's an area where they have struggled throughout this season, and being able to stop teams once they've gotten into the red zone. That was a win for them, and they've got to be able to gain some kind of confidence coming off of that.
But they have to get some kind of play now out of Terrence Newman. I mean, this defense is really built around him at this point. Tyrone Williams really has very little playing time up until last week. He hadn't played since October of last year. So basically what the Cowboys are going to do is say, okay, Terrence Newman, we're going to leave you one-on-one with Javon Walker or Donald Driver or somebody on your side, and we're going to try and help to the other side. But we see on that opening drive, both those guys get beat, and not by just a little bit, but by a lot.
And as it is, the Cowboys are hampered with the loss earlier by Pete Hunter. They've had 3 different corners playing the spot where Tyrone Williams is in, and of course Darren Woodson is going to be out longer. So Cowboys and the Packers, magical names. Cowboys 0-4 at Lambeau, but on the other hand, the Cowboys have won 9 of the last 10 against Green Bay. Last time they played here 7 years ago. Kickoff by Longwell. A good one. Quincy Morgan will down it for the touchback with 5:17 to go. Great World Series Game 1 last night. Game 2 tonight at Fenway Park with the Cardinals and the Red Sox. highest scoring game one in history in a World Series, Troy.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, after last night's game, it made a lot of people forget about the ALCS between the Yankees and Red Sox.
And Kurt Schilling goes back tonight, right? They'll stitch his ankle back up and let him go.
A scene out of the natural with Kurt Schilling. First down, Eddie George. And Eddie George limited to 1 yard on first down. A spirited crowd here at Lambeau Field trying to see if they can get the Packers to win a game here after losing the first three. And of course, Red Sox fans everywhere, including Lambeau Field today. Beautiful day. In fact, it's a lot warmer today than it was last night for game one.
Oh, it's a great day. I mean, yesterday we had a hailstorm come through. We had tornadoes in the area, and then we wake up this morning and the sun's out, and just a great atmosphere and a great mood for football.
Vinny Testaverde under center, second down and 9. Richie Anderson. And again, the Packers snuffed the run thanks to Nick Barnett. And James Brown is back with another game break. I don't think it'll be his last.
Hey, Dick, I'm sure Troy can appreciate the outstanding pass, precision pass. Chris Collinsworth, the outstanding catch by Larry Fitzgerald. That from Josh McCown. Arizona strikes first on top of Seattle. 7-0. That in the desert. Back to Dick, Troy, Chris, and Pam.
JB, always a better pass than it is a catch.
Get out of here.
Oh, come on.
That play, anybody could have thrown that pass.
Put it right where he had to put it.
Good Lord, you guys are all right.
I'll go with Chris on that one. Not even close. Third down and 8. Keyshawn Johnson in motion toward the line. Good protection for Testaverde, and he's got Quincy Morgan. And Morgan makes the catch and gets inside the Packer 25. Quincy Morgan from Garland, Texas. And glad to be with the Cowboys, picking up 53.
Well, anytime you're going to make this kind of throw, you got to have protection. They bring the blitz, they pick it up beautifully, and then they got Quincy Morgan going to the post. Vinny Testaverde told us this week he did not realize Quincy Morgan had the speed that he had. He runs right by Darren Sharper. Obviously, the secondary for Green Bay expecting a shorter route with the blitz behind it, but they were able to beat him because they picked it up front.
And we go back to that Colts game earlier this season when they were able to isolate wide receivers on Darren Sharper. The Colts came up with some huge plays. That was part of the Cowboys' plan today.
And on the end around, it's going to be an option pass. Terry Glenn into the end zone, trying to get it to Keyshawn Johnson. And Keyshawn plays defensive back to try to keep Darren Sharper from intercepting the pass.
Chris, I'll tell you, they were lucky that ball wasn't intercepted.
Yeah, that for Terry Glenn, that's one you just pull down and you try to do the best you can with it. Keyshawn had trouble getting off the ball and was getting knocked around and never really got loose. They even ran into each other, but Darren Sharper on this one right there, and comes down to a jump ball, and instead of trying to make the play, Sharper does the smart thing and just knocks that thing out of there.
So something out of the trickery book for Bill Parcells on the second series for the Cowboys. Second down and 10, empty backfield, and the slant perfect to Quincy Morgan. Chris, how does this guy pick up the offense so fast? I mean, he just came midweek from Cleveland in this deal, and he looks like he's been here for years.
Yeah, they made a special package for Quincy Morgan today. He only has about 8 plays at his disposal, so I guess that means he has 6 left because he's made a couple pretty good ones out there. But they are impressed with him. They had heard that he didn't have very good hands, but to a man, they were all saying they were impressed not only with his hands in practice and the way he picked it up, but also his speed.
Had 9 receptions with the Browns, but 3 of them were for touchdowns. Third down and 1, and the play is blown dead. And our first penalty of the game, Larry Nevers, the referee and his crew discuss it.
But Troy, you also have to talk about with Quincy Morgan, he had 2 safeties covering him on both those plays.
Defense number 99. The 5-yard penalty will result in a first down.
Corey Williams, flag was called on Williams, the rookie from Arkansas State. And it'll be a first down for the Cowboys as we get close to 2 minutes remaining in the first.
You know, it's pretty remarkable going back to Quincy Morgan and the fact that he didn't join the team until middle of the week. He didn't even start practicing until Wednesday. So for him to basically have just 3 days of practice, trying to learn a new offense and already have the impact in the game that he has, pretty remarkable.
So who needs training camp?
Or Antonio Bryant.
First and 10 from the 11, and the pass knocked down, and Al Harris prevents Keyshawn Johnson from scoring a touchdown. That was a picture play by the veteran cornerback.
Well, Al Harris really is one of the playmakers for this defensive team. They don't have a lot of them, but he is probably having his best season, and when he's at his best is when he's challenging guys. And Keyshawn Johnson, you know, of course, you're down here in the red zone. You can't push the defender off of you the way that you can if you're out in the middle of the field. Al Harris sitting on the route, reads it, does a nice job defensing it.
And the Cowboys can pick up a first down without scoring. It is 2nd and 10 from the 11, and the pass off the hands of tight end Jason Witten, and it'll be 3rd down.
Well, this has been a problem for this Cowboy offense. They've been able to move the football. We saw it in the first drive that they got. They went down the field. They got down inside the 20-yard line. They stumbled. They weren't able to come away with a touchdown, and that's what we're witnessing right now. They've just not been very efficient down in the red zone area executing their offense.
And Dedrick Ward comes back into the headline. Chris, Terry Glenn had a foot injury for a while. They were working on him on the sideline.
Yeah, and it looked like he limped off the field after a big day last week.
3rd down and 10.
Empty backfield.
Testaverde completes the pass. Dedrick Ward, who just entered the game, another former Bill Parcells player with the New York Jets, gets 5 yards. 4th down coming up. Good stop by Green Bay.
And I think a mistake there by Dedrick Ward. Whenever you get man coverage, you've got to make a break. He tried to just go down and stop and turn around. I don't know if he realized it was man coverage or not, but obviously in that situation, you've either got to go out, break across his face, arrow back out. You just can't sit and wait for the ball.
Billy Cundiff with a 24-yard chip shot attempt here. And he gives the Cowboys the lead 6-3. So the battle of field goal kickers in this first quarter with 55 seconds left.
Yeah, and at some point that's going to catch up to you. When you're effective moving the football, but you're not able to come away with touchdowns, this is a Green Bay offense that has the ability to score a lot of points. And Bill Parcells talked about that last night with their ability to run the football along with being able to throw the ball. You can bet that Green Bay is going to put up some points.
And I think, Chris, that as far as the Cowboys, they can't afford to give up the big play like they did in the last series. Fortunate to get away with only 3 against them.
Well, but for Bill Parcells, that means essentially going away from what they like to do defensively. They like to bring pressure. They want to blitz. They want to get after the quarterback. But in order to blitz, your corners have to hold up. And if you're uncomfortable playing man coverage on the outside, you don't blitz. And so if I'm Bill Parcells at this point in the game, I'm not blitzing because I don't think my corners can get it done.
Well, and to say that Bill likes to blitz, it's really he likes to blitz since he joined the Dallas Cowboys, because if you think back to his days with the Giants and even the Jets, he really liked playing that 2-deep shell and playing conservative defensively, but he was able to get pressure on the quarterback rushing 4 people. That's something he's not able to do with this Dallas defense.
That's exactly right. And also, I don't think that defensively the Cowboys hold up very well against the run in that 2-deep shell without Roy Williams dropping down in the box.
I was about to say, as we looked at Terry Glenn still working on the injured foot, that it's a good thing Quincy Morgan has worked into the offense so well early in the first quarter. And the kickoff, Najee Davenport fakes the end around again, and Davenport fumbles. Loose ball at the 44-yard line, and the preliminary signal is that the Packers recovered, and it was Torrance Marshall recovering for Green Bay.
And Torrance Marshall, he was the only guy even in the area for the Green Bay Packers. What a lucky break for Green Bay. The ball comes out. Look at all the white shirts. Torrance Marshall just beats everybody to the ball.
Najee Davenport has been slowed with the hamstring pull, and so Davenport and Amon Green, who are not 100% coming into this game, the 2 top running backs for the Packers.
Najee played awfully well last week. I kind of expected him to have a little breakout game today.
From the 43-yard line of Green Bay, the pass out on the flat to the tight end David Martin. Martin finally healthy, and we'll see a lot of 2 tight ends today, picking up 6. Brett Favre in his 200th career game played and his 196th straight start, most ever by a quarterback in the National Football League. And they've done a great job of protecting him, Troy. Sacked only 3 times this year.
And part of that is the play of the offensive line, and the other part of it is that Brett Favre's done a great job getting the ball out.
2nd down and 4. And here's Green. And Green gets close to the first down, appears to be about a yard short, and this will likely be the last play of the first quarter. Packers in good field position. We'll have a 3rd down and short, and that is the end of the first quarter here in Lambeau Field. With the score, the Cowboys 6 and the Packers 3. The NFL on Fox will continue after these messages.
You're watching the NFL on Fox.
Fact. Chevy has the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. Period. Get the right deal on the right truck right now during the Chevy Right Truck event. Stop by your Chevy dealer to get $5,000 total cash back on select 04 Silverado models with GMAC financing. Hurry, the Chevy Right Truck event ends November 1st. See your select Heartland Chevy dealers today.
In an increasingly dangerous world, even after the first terrorist attack on America, John Kerry and the liberals in Congress voted to slash America's intelligence operations by $6 billion. Cuts so deep they would have weakened America's defenses. And weakness attracts those who are waiting to do America harm.
I'm George W. Bush, and I approve this message.
Can calm them.
Don't hit me!
Parents of America, help is on the way.
I am trying to show you a better way to do this.
Nanny 911, Wednesday, November 3rd on Fox.
Welcome back to Lambeau Field. The Cowboys lead the Packers 6-3 as we start the second quarter. Terry Glenn has been hampered with the injured foot. Let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Yeah, Dick, and that foot has started up all over again. It's been aggravated. He has got a mid-foot sprain is actually what they're telling me at this point. He's gone back to get some x-rays right now. The trainers cut the tape off, removed some padding under that foot, but Glenn complained about the pain in that foot. They took him back in there to get a good look at it with x-rays, and when we know more, we'll get back with you.
All right, Pam, and of course Glenn having a big year for Bill Parcells. Had 7 catches for 140 yards last week, leading Dallas in receiving. 3rd down and 1, and Amon Green will have the first down, breaks away, and being chased by Newman, the last man to defend him, and Newman drags him down. But Amon Green with a huge 31-yard run, and a first down inside the 15 or 20.
That's really classic Green Bay Packer power football. Nick Lucci, the fullback, is going to create a great block here, picking up the first linebacker, and then watch Amon Green simply outmaneuver the second linebacker. The Cowboys had 2 linebackers in the hole. Looks absolutely defensed, and Amon Green bounces out of there.
And Roy Williams, he takes a bad angle on the play, and that's been one of the Achilles heels for this defensive football team. They've not had good tackling from the safety position.
And the 32-yard gain, longest of the year for Green, and Favre in trouble, unloads it to Najee Davenport, and Davenport ends up with a first down inside the 5. Great ad-libbing by the Packers offense, particularly Brett Favre.
Well, they get the ball into Davenport's hands. Terrence Newman has a chance to come up and make the play. He was a leading tackler for this team a week ago. He made the last tackle, but here you've got to come up and wrap him up. And I realize that Najee Davenport is a big guy, but he did not get his helmet on the right side and get his shoulders into him. A big missed tackle for the Cowboys.
Boy, I've got to say, that's even worse than that. I mean, that's almost turning it down at that point. If you're playing cornerback in this league, especially for Bill Parcells, you got to hit him with your helmet and your shoulder pads. That was just pretty pathetic.
That was the first catch of the year by Davenport, now trying to get into the end zone, but he is stopped by the middle of the defensive line of the Cowboys, and 2.5 yards on the play.
Well, and we're seeing the element that Najee Davenport brings to this team. Last week, of course, his first time back, coming back from his hamstring injury, and what a difference he made in that ball game, and we saw it on the last 2 plays. He's a very physical, strong, downhill type of runner, and when you get down in here in the goal line area, that's the type of back that you'd like to have in the game. He's not in at this time. In fact, there's a little confusion as to what running back they're going to go with, and it looks like they're going to call a timeout.
They had a big package in there, including Kevin Barry, their big tackle who plays tight end, Nick Lucci, the other fullback, and Amon Green in the game. And finally, a timeout is called by the Packers. Want to make no mistake, Chris, in getting it in the end zone this time.
Well, for the Cowboys, it looks like their middle linebacker, Dat Wynn, is also injured. So from a health standpoint, it's been a bad start for the Dallas Cowboys. But Troy, I kind of get the feeling now that neither one of these defenses are going to do too much in this game. It's going to be up and down the field, and the team that can score touchdowns in the red zone probably the winner here.
Well, there's no question that Green Bay really poses a problem for this Cowboys defense, because as you talked about a little bit earlier, when you start having to protect your corners, then you're not able to play run defense. And when you're playing against a team like Green Bay that can run the ball as effectively as they can, you need an 8th guy up in the box.
Meanwhile, postscript, the Philadelphia Eagles win in overtime over the Cleveland Browns on a David Akers field goal. But back here, it'll be 2nd and goal at the 1 for the Packers, trailing 6-3. And here is a Amon Green touchdown. Going over from 1, Amon Green with his 3rd touchdown on the ground, giving Green Bay the lead.
This run by Amon Green. I'll bet you he's not a 1.5 feet off the ground when he goes through this hole. Watch how low he gets. Impossible to get your arms around somebody running that low. Greg Ellis just basically whipped. He couldn't believe that he was able to get his helmet underneath his arms.
And Ryan Longwell giving the Packers a 10-6 lead early here in the 2nd quarter. And it's been a while for Amon Green, his first touchdown on the ground in the last 6 games.
Yeah, and if you'll notice, he's also not wearing the protective sleeves that he's always worn. He's changed out different types. Last week was the first game that he went without them. He's trying to do everything that he can to keep from fumbling. He had fumbled 4 of the first 5 games going into last week's game. Did not have a fumble. Talking with Mike Sherman, he didn't feel that the protective sleeves had anything to do with him fumbling. But right now, Amon Green just looking for anything that he can kind of grasp onto. And he's been very secure with the ball, at least last week and then today.
I got to tell you, if I had guns like that, I wouldn't put anything on them either. I'd have tattoos, none of that stuff.
Well, that explains why you're always wearing long sleeve shirts then, huh?
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Hulk Hogan.
A little shot from Troy, and why not? As the Cowboys trailing 10-6, there have not been any punts so far in this game. There have been 4 possessions and 4 scores, but the only touchdown, that by Amon Green. The Green Bay Packers have just taken the lead over the Dallas Cowboys 10-6 early in the 2nd quarter here in Lambeau Field on Amon Green's 1-yard touchdown plunge. 4 possessions in the game, 4 scores as Quincy Morgan returns the kickoff, and terrific coverage that time by the Green Bay Packers. And it was Jason Horton on the terrific tackle. Javon Walker with a 44-yard catch led to a field goal. Quincy Morgan, who just joined the Cowboys, with a big run, and after the catch, and Amon Green with the touchdown. And you're up to date as the Packers lead it 10-6. Green Bay impressively running the ball. Dallas doing it through the air. First down on the 13, Rashard Lee. And the slant, and it's tipped by Al Harris, the cornerback. So we told you the Eagles won in overtime, and for more, James Brown has a game break to tell you about it.
And then
6-0 now for the Eagles.
But you're going to be in those types of games. Good teams find a way to win, and that's what the Eagles were able to do.
2nd and 10 on the 13 of the Cowboys. And here's the pass dropped that time by Dedrick Ward. He was in position to make the catch, but there's a penalty marker down.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to call offensive pass interference. At least the early indication is that.
And Darren Sharper has injured his left knee, and on the bench is return questionable here, and they'll call offensive pass interference, but the ball was tipped. And that is the question that Larry Nemmers is discussing with his cohorts.
Offensive pass interference, number 87. Penalty is declined. 3rd down.
So it'll be 3rd down, and Cowboys are still backed up.
That is absolutely a huge injury for the Green Bay Packers. Darren Sharper, who is essentially the quarterback of this secondary. So many young guys back there, and he's the traffic cop. He's the one that gets them in the right place.
And now Bowes takes his place, number 21. 3rd down and 10. Crowd is in full throat and standing here in Lambeau. And the pressure is put on Testaverde, and Keyshawn Johnson makes the big catch in the center of the field and gets the 1st down. So just as quickly, the crowd is silenced. A 29-yard gain.
Well, and that's the 2nd time that Green Bay's brought pressure. They bring Nick Barnett on the blitz once again, and they pick it up. You remember the big play they had earlier to Quincy Morgan? Well, this time they find Keyshawn Johnson running a square in against Al Harris, and he's able to get separation. Testaverde spots him and puts the ball right where it has to be.
And that's the first time we've seen the Cowboys effectively pick up the blitz, really dating back to the 4th quarter of a week ago against Pittsburgh.
And the blitz has burned the Packers ever since that game-1 victory at Carolina. And the dump off to Rashard Lee, and Lee picking up about 4.5 yards with Hannibal Navies bringing him down, a 3-yard gain. And if you look at the top, at the box, you'll see the offensive leaders across the screen. Tell you what, you blitz Vinny Testaverde and you have an open receiver, he'll find him.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, Vinny Testaverde's 41 years old, but he still has a very live arm, and he's very accurate when he throws the football. And the Cowboys have spent a long time trying to protect him, and when they give him protection, he's able more times than not to find the open guy.
You saw Rashard Lee shaken up. 2nd and 6. Here comes the blitz. The quick toss to Witten, the tight end. But Bowes wrestles him out of bounds after only a 2-yard pickup.
Good job there by Vinny finding the hot receivers. The Packers came with the blitz again. And Jason Witten on the outside is clearly a very talented receiving tight end, but the Dallas Cowboys, in my opinion, really desperately missed Dan Campbell, who was their blocker. He was a guy that helped in pass protection. He created so much offense, and when you see the Cowboys and their lack of running game, I think a lot of that can be attributed to the fact that Dan Campbell is injured and out of there.
You're right, because he was a key blocker up front. Witten more of the receiving tight end variety.
Well, the Cowboys go again to the empty backfield.
3rd down and 4. And the Packers eager to come, and the ball batted down by Grady Jackson. 2nd time in this 1st half that Grady Jackson has knocked down a pass.
Yeah, and you don't think that they've missed Grady Jackson here over the last month of the season? I mean, we've talked about the impact that he has made. He's a very athletic guy for as big as what he is. He knows he can't get to the quarterback. He sees Testaverde making the throw. He stops and jumps up and bats the ball.
Look at Jason Witten right out here. They come with the corner blitz. I don't know if it was a mistake or not by the Packers, but literally nobody on that side of the field to cover him. They just dump it right there to him, and he runs for 40. Just a blown coverage. Luckily, the Packers got away with that.
And it was a delay of game penalty, so none of that will count for Grady Jackson, but the 5-yard penalty will bring up 3rd down and 9. Back on the Dallas 43. Testaverde out of the shotgun. Has some time and tries to swing it out to Richie Anderson to no avail, and 4th down comes up.
Well, and I really like what Green Bay has done here in this 1st half, and yes, they have been beaten when they brought blitz at times, but they've also continued to put pressure, and they're mixing it up very well. I know that earlier in the season there were games where they were blitzing 70% of the time. They've backed off of that. They're being a lot less predictable, and as a result, their blitzes, when they bring it, are much more effective.
Antonio Chapman back to return the punt by Matt McBriar, native Australian, and the fair catch by Chapman at the 21-yard line. Packers have scored the only touchdown on an Ahman Green 1-yard plunge. They lead 10-6.
Come on.
Silverado half-ton crew comes standard with more muscle than Ford, Dodge, or Toyota. That's why it's the right truck. The official truck of an American revolution.
Yeah, my brother-in-law, he's always inviting me over to watch his big, fancy TV.
And you hate him for it. So you want something bigger and better for a lot less money.
Yeah.
I guess you're just what I need.
At Circuit City, we have all the hottest new TVs, from HD TV to plasma, LCD, and more. And with unbeatable prices guaranteed, you'll find the perfect one. Circuit City.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by the new Chevrolets. 10 new cars and trucks in 20 months, an American revolution. By ArcaX, the world's largest fully electronic stock exchange. By Miller, there's good enough and there's better than it has to be. Miller, good call. And by Circuit City. For the hottest new technology, think Circuit City, just what I needed.
Back in Lambeau Field on a beautiful Sunday as Darren Sharper with an injured left knee walking off. I tell you, the secondary in both squads have been depleted in the last several weeks, including today's game, as Brett Favre leads the Packers and Ahman Green gets upended, and Roy Williams with a picture tackle and a loss on the play of about a yard.
Yeah, and that's something that he's really not gotten a chance to do much of this season because of the problems at corner. They've had to try to protect him, and as a result, Roy Williams has not been around the line of scrimmage as much as what he was a year ago, that time coming on the blitz, the run blitz, and comes up and makes a tremendous open field tackle.
You know, the other thing with Darren Woodson not being in there, they just aren't as comfortable leaving Tony Dixon back as they would be with Woodson, and obviously a big drop-off in the physical presence of Tony Dixon versus Darren Woodson.
2nd and 11. Brett Favre looking for a receiver, goes underneath to Najee Davenport. Davenport is stopped at the 28-yard line, and a lot of early action, a lot of surprises, and some of the headliners of the early games. Donovan McNabb with 4 TDs as the Eagles beat the Browns in overtime. Joey Harrington leads the Lions back from a dismal effort to a win over the Giants. Priest Holmes with 4 touchdowns.
I just think it's amazing what Donovan McNabb and the Philadelphia Eagles continue to do on a weekly basis.
Bubba Franks is the Packer down, and we'll take a timeout.
I've got incomplete beer on Edward. Attempting to rock with a beer that has less flavor. Replacing with genuine flavor, cold filtered smooth, Miller Genuine Draft. Whoa! I've also got unnecessary spandex on Edward. Too much information. Rockstar status, decline.
Miller, good call.
Guys?
No way.
Yeah, I got us on the Verizon Wireless Family Share Plan, so we can talk to each other as much as we want.
And it's got in, so you can talk to your friends all you want to.
Really awesome.
Hey, group hug.
Okay. Sign up for the Family Share Plan, and now the whole family can make unlimited in-calls to each other and any other Verizon Wireless customer from the America's Choice coverage area. Plus, buy one Samsung A650 for $29.99 and get one free.
Give me a call.
Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you.
Despite genetic similarities, siblings often harbor tension between each other. This can result in provocation against the older counterpart. But these are merely attempts to discover his place in the family. Cobalt, the new commotion, coming to the Chevy family.
Fox tomorrow. The new season of The Swan premieres with the most compelling stories ever. A deaf woman gets the chance of a lifetime.
I want my dream to come true.
Doctors will help heal a burn victim. And for one woman, The Swan comes just in time.
It's cancer. We will get it.
The Swan. Season premiere at 8/7 Central tomorrow on Fox.
10-6 in favor of the Packers with 9:33 remaining. Bubba Franks leaves the game, replaced by David Martin. 3rd down and 3 from the Packer 28. Protection, good catch by Javon Walker. 1st down to the 36-yard line.
You really just can't say enough about what the Green Bay Packers are doing from a protection standpoint right now. Brett Favre is just standing back there like he's playing 7-on-7. This offensive line, even with Rugemer in there, they haven't allowed Brett Favre to be sacked dating back to September when they played against the Indianapolis Colts over a month ago. A remarkable streak.
And Mike Flanagan out for the season with a knee injury. Packers have done a terrific job protecting Favre without their centerpiece. Amon Green, nothing, and gets a couple after all of that. Bringing up 2nd down and long, gain of 2.
Well, you know, one of the things that that the Packers were concerned about, they didn't want to get into long down situations on 3rd down, because 3rd and 7 or more, the Dallas Cowboys like to bring the blitz and like to bring pressure. That time at 3rd and 3, the Packers spread them out. They go to an empty backfield, and that allows them to keep the Cowboys from bringing pressure. Well designed. Nice job by Mike Sherman, who again is calling plays today.
2nd and 8, and play action. Slings it out to the fullback, William Henderson. And Henderson is tackled. Good play because it prevents the 1st down, short by 2 yards. Brady James making the stop for the Cowboys.
It's interesting watching William Henderson, a big guy who's been such a great fullback in this league for so long. Nick Lucci, I think, has really begun to take over the full-time fullback position. Probably a little bit better pure blocking fullback, but William Henderson's still a very good receiver coming out of the backfield. They really rely on him in the passing game.
Tony Fisher, who is the receiving back on 3rd downs, is in there, but flag will stop the play before it gets underway, and it'll be no penalty but a timeout.
Timeout, Dallas.
So Dallas obviously saw something they didn't like and called a halt to it. We'll be back to Lambeau Field in a moment.
I'm looking for someone who can do just about everything.
That's me.
Can you make color copies? Collate and bind my presentation?
Sure can.
Sign for deliveries?
Can do.
Pick up my dog at the groomer?
No.
Handle all my packing and shipping?
Worldwide.
Well, Kim, when can you start?
How about right now?
The UPS Store, helping your small business in more ways than you thought. Get it done. Get it done right at the UPS Store.
Blue skies smiling at me. Nothing but blue skies do I see.
HP services and technology help the world's great companies face, manage, and love change. HP. Invent.
The world's largest fully electronic stock exchange.
Today's game on Fox is brought to you by UPS. What can Brown do for you?
Touchdown of the game by Amon Green, and both teams have moved the ball. Otherwise, it's been field goals. 3rd down and 2 coming up, and a laundry list of injuries in this game. Terry Glenn, Cowboy receiver, went out with a foot injury. Darren Sharper went into the locker room as well with a left knee, and Bubba Franks has a stinger, probable as far as his return. And the pass thrown out to William Henderson. And they finally get it out on the flat, and the fullback makes the catch, first down into Dallas territory. And there's a, let's see if there's a flag down. Larry Nembers.
Illegal shift on the offense. 2 men moving. That's a 5-yard penalty. Repeat, third down.
That's a big one, so it'll be 3rd and 7 instead of the first down in Cowboy territory.
Yeah, and the Cowboys got lucky on that one because they looked like a 3-ring circus back there in the defensive secondary as the corner ran in motion with the wide receiver. He ran into the linebacker. They all fell down and into a big old heap and left a lot of people open on the play.
Well, as we said earlier, the Cowboys like to bring pressure on 3rd and 7. That's what it is now. We'll see what they choose to do.
And Tony Fisher is in the game, and they really spread it out with 5 prospective receivers and an empty backfield. And the Cowboys are going to blitz against it, and the pass is caught by Antonio Chapman, the hot receiver, and Favre found him, and a first down to midfield. And has Chapman come on, Troy?
Yeah, he really has, Dick. And I got to tell you that the scouting report was that at 3rd and 7 or more, the Cowboys are going to bring pressure. And when you know that as a play caller and as a quarterback, it makes it real easy then to defeat that. You got Antonio Chapman working one-on-one, and that's just an easy catch right there, an easy first down.
And that time, Roy Williams was up there looking like a blitz. They knew where the hot read was going to be. He ran right underneath it and just missed the ball.
12-yard gain, and the Packers just into Cowboy territory. Here's Donald Driver with his first catch of the game. Gets to the 45 of the Cowboys, picking up 3 with Al Singleton making the tackle. Driver, who is seeking his 3rd straight 100-yard receiving game today.
You know, it really is. That just typifies what the Dallas Cowboys have been doing defensively. They had the perfect defense called. Roy Williams was up there. He faked the blitz. He fell right underneath the hot read, and he just simply missed the ball. When you create those opportunities defensively, you have to make the play.
Second down, and there's Green changing direction. Favre for the block, and Green has the first down with Brett Favre making a key block on that play for Amon Green.
It's just an unbelievable individual effort by Amon Green, and the Dallas Cowboys, who have had problems tackling, again, is exemplified right here. Leroy Glover's going to have an opportunity to give. You're going to see right there, that's where Leroy Glover had a chance to get Amon Green on the ground. Brett Favre out leading the way, getting the block on Kenyon Coleman.
Is that a fallback block? How would you describe that as a quarterback? You don't really want to hit them, but you want to sort of get in their way there.
Yeah, it's perseverance.
How many of those you ever made?
And the Packers will call a timeout. Meanwhile, Amon Green with 9 carries, 52 yards, and a touchdown. Off to a big first half, as is that man.
I'm Vicky, and this is Lamont.
Okay.
And we're about to find out if we're going to have a new edition.
I'm nervous, but I hope it's good news.
I can't take it anymore, baby. What's it say?
We're getting a plasma TV. We're getting a plasma TV.
Monopoly Best Chance game is back at McDonald's.
Yeah, it's okay. Let it out. Let it out. I'm so proud.
I'm going to tell my mom the good news.
All right. All right. I want to let you know she can't come over all the time, but she can come sometime.
Billionaire Richard Branson became a business mogul by taking huge risks. Now he's invited 16 contestants to enter an extreme competition.
Hello, you can do it.
What they don't know is they're competing for the biggest prize in reality TV history.
This is an opportunity I never thought I would offer anybody.
As one will become president of his entire Virgin World Empire. You heard it right. President.
I'm offering you my job.
The Rebel Billionaire premieres Tuesday, November 9th on Fox. On November 7th, The Simpsons' epic 16th season begins. With the most amazing...
I've learned to walk
naked on stilts.
Out of this world episodes ever.
What a delicious meal. I'm going to burst.
Ooh, I'm vomit.
Sunday night belongs to The Simpsons, only on Fox.
The great appeal about Brett Favre, guys, is the fact that he still has a lot of fun. You just watch his face, you know he's enjoying the game, including the blocks.
Well, you've got to enjoy the game in order to get out there and lead the way. And, you know, he does it all the time. And I think that that's why he is who he is. He really enjoys what he's doing.
Packers calling their second timeout of this first half, have a first down, and Najee Davenport off left tackle, maybe a yard on the play.
And this running game for the Packers just looked a lot better last week than what they did. And I think the fact that you get Tony Fisher, you get Najee Davenport involved, and it's just not all Amon Green. And the fact they ran the ball so much more. They ran almost twice as much as they had the 2 previous games behind, but they were behind by so far in those games, they were forced out of their offense. Their offense isn't to drop back and throw it every down. It's to go off the play action, run the football, and then create passing opportunities.
Second 9, play action, and there is Favre faking a pass and finally chased out of bounds by Eric Abagu. Crowd yelling for a late hit. No flag is thrown. And a 4-yard pickup. And, of course, the play calling, of course, that's in the hands of Mike Sherman. As you know, Tom Rossley is back after the angioplasty. He is upstairs, but Mike Sherman calling the plays down on the sideline. And I think Brett Favre enjoys that.
Well, I think he does, too. And I think the Cowboys were lucky here. This one could have very easily should have been. He was well out of bounds before Eric Abagu even got his hands on his shoulder pads. Cowboys fortunate that the flag didn't come out.
Well, maybe he figures they're going to block us. We're going to tackle him out of bounds. There's a little payback time for the Cowboys.
4 for 5 on third downs are the Packers. And the quick toss caught by Javon Walker. Here's a receiver coming into his own without question is Javon Walker getting 9 yards and a first down to the 26 of the Cowboys.
Yeah, and you wonder a little bit how much Javon Walker wanted to go in there on that slant route and catch this ball last week against the Detroit Lions. Brett Favre let him into danger a couple of times. He's playing with a separated shoulder right now. Got hit extremely hard last week by safeties coming in, but he comes right back, makes a good catch with good coverage.
But how do you let guys get off inside and those type of short yardage where you know they're going to be quick throws and you give them the slant? It just doesn't make any sense.
And here is the end around to Antonio Chapman, a foot race, and Chapman will be knocked out of bounds. Not really knocked. He's on his feet. Roy Williams chased him, but not before Chapman gets 18 yards and a little wrinkle from Mike Sherman's playbook.
And Mike Sherman was telling us just yesterday that Antonio Chapman has been one of the real surprises for this team this year. Last year, he was playing arena football. And the crowd's not liking. They're thinking that there was another late hit.
Roy Williams going after Chapman. You be the judge.
Well, he was clearly out of bounds. And
the takedown as well.
Well, that's 2, but Antonio Chapman, who came on last week, had a career-high 5 receptions, making his presence felt again here today.
He's working harder, and Brett trusts him, but this time a flag goes down as Abagu gets Brett Favre in what would be only the 4th sack of the year for the Cowboys if it goes.
Well, they didn't get Abagu for the late hit on the sidelines, but now they're going to get him for roughing the quarterback in the pocket.
Sooner or later. 15-yard face mask on number 90 of the defense. Will go half the distance to the goal from the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
And we learned this one a few weeks ago. A face mask doesn't necessarily have to be on the face mask. If you get your hand hooked underneath the helmet or any part of it, it's the equivalent of a face mask.
Absolutely.
Poor Eric said, man, get hold of Brett Favre. You got to grab anything you can get.
Didn't get him there, got him here. And it'll be first down and goal for the Packers. That was the first sack allowed in the last 187 pass attempts. But, of course, they get the first down as a result of the penalty on Abagu. Multiple tight ends. Amon Green to the 5. as we wind down to the 2-minute warning here at Lambeau.
I'll tell you, this has been a heck of a drive by the Green Bay Packers. 14 plays over 8.5 minutes run off the clock.
Packers trying to get back in the race. They know Minnesota won. They want to keep pace. They lead. 2-minute warning.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Hummer. Check out the H2. Hummer, like nothing else.
First day. Nervous? Want me to drop you off here so you can walk up?
No, we can pour it up.
Sure you're gonna be all right?
Should be. What's up?
Nice ride.
String, sitting on a rainbow.
If everything in life has a signature something, consider this, Visa's signature card. The Visa signature card can get you into America's hottest restaurants by holding tables for signature card holders. And with remarkable purchasing power accepted millions more places worldwide than American Express, it might not put the world on a string, but it can put it on a card. Visa signature.
Coming up on the Visa Halftime Report, JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy will have all the scores and highlights. Just look at the promo guys from around the league, and the Fox Sports ticker has up to the second scores and stats.
You got Terry and Howie and Jimmy. I just don't see JB.
No, he's showing a little restraint. He didn't come to the game today, did he?
I've heard of 1,000 uses for cheese, but there's a new one.
15th play of the drive as we get back to football with 2 minutes remaining in the first half, and the Packers threaten. It'll be second down and goal at the 5. Tony Fisher is the back and play action for Favre. Favre drills it, and the pass is caught. Touchdown, Javon Walker. That was a bullet, and Mike Sherman couldn't be more pleased as the Packers scoring the only 2 touchdowns thus far in the first half.
You know, and Javon Walker, what a great job he does. He's really become the go-to guy for them. And if you watch him, he's going to start working back right there to Brett Favre. Brett Favre was looking for somebody to throw the ball to. Javon Walker was open, but what made him more open is when he started working back towards Brett Favre, and that's why they get the touchdown.
And Troy, you have to use one word for the Cowboys defense on that long drive, and that one word would be boring. They never took any chances. They never tried to blitz. This secondary has them scared to death to play their game.
A 15-play drive capped by Favre to Walker and a 17-6 lead.
Well, well. Looks like it's double credit time. Only at Southwest.com. Just go to Southwest.com to book an everyday low fare and earn double Rapid Rewards credit. And it's only when you use your Visa card.
You are now free to move about the country.
Hey, who's tired of paying $5 for a bag of peanuts? Who's tired of paying huge overage charges to your wireless company? Well, what if Sprint got rid of ugly overages? Check it out.
With the Sprint PCS Fair and Flexible plan, 100 extra minutes never cost more than $10. Other plans charge at least $40, so talk all you want.
You, went over your barbecue minutes.
Plans start at $35. Sprint PCS. Now that's better.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 39.
go back to that last play on the touchdown, and Brett Favre going to sprint out to his right. Javon Walker in the slot is going to work across the field, and when Brett Favre pulls up, that's when Javon Walker starts working towards the goal line and towards Brett Favre. As a result, it blocks Roy Williams from being able to come in and make a play.
Well, and a lot of quarterbacks in that situation would lead the receiver across the field. Brett instead throws to the back shoulder. Javon's going to turn his back on Roy Williams coming at him, and it makes for an easy pitch and catch. Good veteran play by Brett. And how about the job Mike Sherman's doing calling plays? He's been flawless for a game and a half now.
And mixing him very well because he's running Green, who has averaged nearly 5.5 yards per carry and a touchdown, and using all the receivers, particularly Walker. This team has a lot of weapons right now, Troy.
There's no question. Yes, this is an offensive team that's done a great job moving the ball all season long.
Line drive kick picked up by Jacques Reeves. And Reeves is tackled by Najee Davenport after a 7-yard return. So Javon Walker teaming up with Brett Favre. Packers lead, and we'll be back.
Leon, free agent year, trade rumors. What's next for you?
Well, actually, Joe, I'm contemplating a career in broadcasting.
Really? Since when?
Since I saw your catering card. I see you working with the roast beef. You got your baby quiche.
Glad you like it.
I do.
Let's get back to the trade rumors.
So this is what you do, man? You just sit up here all day, eat sandwiches, watch the game, and repeat what you see into that microphone?
No, it's a bit more complicated.
How much they pay you for this gig? Go and tell me. Oh, forget about it then.
If you do your best thinking in the shower, imagine how smart you'll get under the new shower heads at Holiday Inn Express.
Proving that my client is innocent.
Case dismissed.
5.
Next. I'd like to patent the dog talker. Nice hair. Holy crap. Deficit's gone, Mr. President. Terrific. Which accounting firm are you with? Oh, I'm not an accountant. But I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
Stay smart. Stay at a Holiday Inn Express.
The Red Sox won a thriller in Game 1. Now the Cards look to even the series. World Series Game 2 in HD tonight on Fox.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Budweiser. Grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It's game time.
Packers trying to end their own mini curse, losing their first 3 games at Lambeau and leading 17-6. And Javon Walker playing a big role in that last series.
He's played a big role for this offense all season long. Entered the game as the NFL's leading receiver in terms of yardage. And he really has become their big play guy.
You know, he's 3rd in the league in touchdown receptions behind only Moss and Owens, and he's starting to fit in that category. It seems like every time we do one of their games, he's catching at least 1 bomb a game.
First down, and Testaverde has all day to throw. And the pass intended for Morgan, looking for a pass interference call, and none coming.
Hard to believe this is the same defensive team that we saw against the Indianapolis Colts. Here they rush 4 guys playing coverage and just do a great job. There's just nowhere to go with the football. Vinny Testaverde had plenty of time to find somebody, just nobody could get open.
And Chris, you made a good point as we look at Dedrick Ward being blanketed, and that is without Terry Glenn. This team is limited because Morgan just joined the team. Now they're forced to use Ward as well.
Using Dedrick Ward, who came into the game without a reception.
And the screen pass, Nolan is looking, and nearly intercepted by Nick Barnett. He was the closest to it, and very nearly had himself an easy interception and score. Rashard Lee, the running back, was the man that Testaverde wanted to find.
And right now, Bill Parcells' team looks in complete disarray. On the offensive side, on the defensive side, like you mentioned, Terry Glenn, 7 catches for 140 yards a week ago. But these guys right now, they're just taking away Keyshawn Johnson, and there's not another threat. And with a complete lack of a running game, all the Packers are doing right now is just dropping back and playing coverage.
Here is Glenn and Flozell Adams, the left tackle, hobbling a bit on the last play. 3rd down and 10. Not easy to hear at Lambeau. And
prior to the snap, delay a game, offense. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
And I'll tell you what, Dick, if you're the Cowboys, you got to be real careful here. They've hardly taken any time off the clock. The Packers still have one timeout. If they try to pick up the first down here at 3rd and 10, 3rd and 15 is what it's going to be, and they don't make it and they fail to get any more time off the clock, they're going to give the ball back to Green Bay with the chance for them to get points.
Cowboys still have 2 timeouts left. They dearly would love to get 3 before intermission, but they're backed up on their own 18-yard line. Testaverde loses the handle and holds onto it. So awkward play. Al Johnson, the center, out of the University of Wisconsin. And now the Packers are signaling for a timeout. A loss of 8 yards and a timeout called by Green Bay. They're hungry for more with 1:34 on the clock. They're out of timeout.
Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL, presents defensive lineman Brenson Buckner, who gets ready for the game with his Visa card and a lot of lip balm. In a remarkable pregame ritual, Brenson kisses his cleats once for every beloved member of his family. His son, Brandon. His mother, Thelma. His wife, Denise. Not his father-in-law, Thomas. He's a Browns fan. He's got his Visa. He's got his lip balm. He's ready.
I got a lot of names.
Visa, get ready for the game.
For the first time ever on 2-disc Disney DVD, Mulan Special Edition, a story of honor, courage,
somehow I'll make a man out of
and being true to yourself. It's the must-own DVD that legends are made of.
Let's get this show on the road!
Disney's Mulan Special Edition, new on 2-disc DVD this Tuesday.
These people are getting answers to the most important questions they'll ever ask. Questions about their health. They're finding those answers in a single place. WebMD. 20 million people come to WebMD every month. They find vital information that used to be scattered in 100 locations, now all in one place. The place America comes for healthcare answers. A place called WebMD.
In the last election, single women were the largest demographic not to show up to the polls. This is the first time I'm voting. It's important to use your voice. Don't let somebody else speak for you. Create your own world. Let's go, ladies.
Packers will get their hands on the ball, but Troy, I got to ask you about Dallas's strategy here, deep in their own end to try to get something going in the last series.
Well, that's the risk that you always run. I certainly felt that they should try to move the ball down the field and come away with some points, but because of their inability to execute, Dick, they really did not take any time off the clock. They're going to give the ball back to Green Bay, and Green Bay now will not have any timeouts, but yet there's plenty of time on the clock for them to go down and try to come away with a field goal before the end of this half. It's just a killer for the Cowboys if that happens.
You know, I've been watching Bill Parcells coach teams for a long time, and I've never seen them just come apart at the seams the way that this team seems to be here in the first half.
Pat McBriar kicking from the end zone. Not a good kick at all. And the Packers will let it roll out of bounds. They'll get the ball in Cowboys territory. And Bill Parcells, who is trying to be upbeat with a team that lost 2 home games in which they had the lead, is losing his patience in a hurry on the road. Doesn't want to see this one slip away early.
7 years ago, Bristol-Myers Squibb medicines literally saved my life. I simply wouldn't be here without them. Today, Bristol-Myers Squibb researchers are focused on our most serious diseases with revolutionary treatments for cancer and AIDS. These researchers dedicate their lives to fighting our most serious diseases. And these medicines can make the difference for millions of us. I'm living proof of that. Hope, triumph, and the miracle of medicine. Bristol-Myers Squibb Company.
To illustrate Singular's amazing deal, let's say this man is 1,000 minutes and this box is $39.99. 1,000 minutes in this tiny, tiny $39.99 box. Amazing, huh? Oh, and you get rollover.
Get Singular's best value ever. 1,000 nationwide anytime minutes with rollover for just $39.99. And get a great deal on this new Motorola camera phone.
I call it my everyone should get one plan.
Our best value ever, only from Singular Wireless.
NFL on Fox, week number 8. And we've got some great matchups for you as well. The Giants at the Vikings lead the parade on the 1 o'clock starts. The pregame show begins at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. Here the Falcons getting routed at Kansas City. Now they've got to go to Denver. And I'll be looking forward to being with you guys for the 3rd and final week in Minnesota next week.
It's been fun, hasn't it?
Yeah. Goes so fast, doesn't it?
I'll tell you, hey,
so fast.
Right now, you know, we talked about, hey, do you mind? We were talking about.
Don't go that fast. Shut up, Dick.
You're getting annoyed now.
Well, the Green Bay Packers, you know, we talked about them being able to come away with some points here before this half ends. Right now, if they do nothing more than keep the ball right where it is on the 35-yard line, that's well within Ryan Longwell's range. They're going to at least get an attempt for a field goal and come away with points.
You know, that was a 50.
Great having you this week, Dick.
Don't interrupt me, Troy. Really, you know better than that. Hand off to Amon Green, and Green dives to the 33-yard line where Leonardo Carson makes the tackle. Packers out of timeouts, trying to get a shot for at least 3.
And the conservative play for the Cowboys defensively continues. They've seen enough from this cornerback play.
And Favre with a slant pass, and it's dropped by Robert Ferguson, who returned to action this week after being out with an Achilles injury.
And this would be a situation, Troy, that last season, 3rd and 8, I would think would be about 100% blitz for the Dallas Cowboys. And this season, they're just not doing it.
Well, they definitely aren't playing with any confidence, I'll tell you. And I really don't believe that Green Bay here is going to just be conservative and run the ball. I believe that they're going to try to pick this thing up and try to come away with a touchdown. They're going to take some shots.
And Mike Zimmer has been under siege with the way teams have moved the ball against the Cowboys, but not the big front line. 3rd down pass, and a pass to Donald Driver is caught, 1st down. The Green Bay Packers are making every important catch, and the hurry up now.
And I don't think you're going to see Brett Favre clock this either. He's got too much experience. He's got a play called. They're going to not waste any time and get the ball snapped.
They're on the 18-yard line of the Cowboys. Pump fake, and this one is tipped incomplete, and Terrence Newman got a hand on it, trying to get the ball to Javon Walker. Stops the clock with 41 ticks on the clock.
And just indicative of what the Cowboys have done all season long. This is a team, they're not good enough if their defense is not making plays to win games. Last year they created turnovers, they blitzed, they came up with plays. This season, even when they get opportunities, they're blowing it. I mean, Terrence Newman, this ball's right in his hands.
And Chris, I got to ask you, I wonder why they're not good enough. You know, this team's a team that went to the playoffs last year, and when we talked to them last night, you'd think that this was a team that was coming off a 5-11 season. It's a team that just lacks confidence all across the board.
2nd and 10 on the 18. And the flip out to Amon Green, and a great tackle made by Dexter Coakley in the open field, and a loss of 4 as the clock continues to run under a half a minute to go. But you're right about the Cowboys. They were 5-1 last year to start the year. Since then, they have dropped 9 of 16.
I think they're just going to line up now to take their shot at the field goal. Obviously, if you try and run a play and you get tackled in the field of play, you're in big trouble and can't kick the field goal.
I think he's going to take one shot into the end zone.
And here comes the pass, and it's thrown out of bounds with 3 seconds. And so coming onto the field now will be Ryan Longwell to try to add 3 more to the Packers total. He has kicked a 26-yard field goal in the first quarter today.
And if the Cowboys come out of this first half just down by 14 points, I will have considered that a win for them, because Bill Parcells is getting ready to rip their shorts. I think the warm and fuzzy Bill Parcells has left the building, and we'll be having a little conversation with him at halftime.
40-yard field goal attempt by Longwell is good. And it is a 20-6 game, so it is 14-point lead, but the way the Cowboys are playing, it's more like 35. And that is the end of the first half with the score. The Packers 20 and the Cowboys 6. Stay tuned for the Visa halftime show with JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy right after these messages and a word from your local Fox station.
October can't be scripted. The Red Sox slugged their way to a dramatic win looks for a commanding lead in the series. But the Cardinals' murderers row are out to even the score. World Series Game 2 in HD tonight on Fox.
Packers looking very good, leading the Cowboys 20-6, trying to win their first at Lambeau this year. And the fantasy update: Brett Favre with a touchdown pass. Javon Walker caught it. Ahman Green also has a TD. For the latest in fantasy stats, log on to foxsports.com. And we know what the Packers have done, but what about the Cowboys, who have exclusively, you'd have to say, passed in this first half, Troy?
Well, and that's probably what they're going to have to do here in the second half if they're going to be able to get back into this, and they're going to be doing it without Terry Glenn. They inactivated Randall Williams, so now your other two receivers other than Keyshawn Johnson are Dedrick Ward, who did not have a catch coming into this game, and then Quincy Morgan, who just joined the team this week. So it doesn't look real positive for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, and I think when Grady Jackson came back for the Green Bay Packers early in this game, he shut down the run, forced them into trying to throw the football, and pretty obvious that didn't work.
Meanwhile, for the Packers, the only bad news will be Darren Sharper, who had an injured left knee. X-rays were negative, but he's going to have an MRI as we take a look at the first half statistics. And the rushing story: Cowboys with only 14 yards, but they only rushed about, what, 4 times?
Well, yeah, they didn't have a rush after 5 minutes left in the first quarter was the last time they had a rush. And so obviously they needed to run the ball more in the first half, but I don't know if they're going to be able to do that in the second half, down by 14.
And the return by Robert Ferguson. Packers getting the ball to start the second half as we check in with Pam Oliver.
Hey, Dick, well, wouldn't you love to be a fly on the wall in the Cowboys locker room? Well, unfortunately, I wasn't able to do that, but I was able to walk up the tunnel with the Cowboys, and I'll tell you, they were one quiet, seemingly dejected team. Terry Glenn was right in front of me, and he could barely move, yet the Cowboys have yet to officially rule him out for the second half. Talking to Mike Sherman, he said the key to second half is to control the ball, to keep our defense off the field. He said look for a great deal more of the running game in the second half, so look for a lot more of Ahman Green. Dick?
All right, Pam, thank you very much. And, of course, you don't want to go into too much of a shell, but you never do with Brett Favre. First down, and the handoff to Ahman Green. Breaks one up the middle, and a flag is down as Green carries it out to the 41-yard line. It would be a 13-yard pickup, but this may go against the Packers.
Holding defense, number 97.
Then again,
we'll add 5 yards to the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Leroy Glover, 5 yards. So again, things start out dismally for Dallas.
Well, and we talked about it a little bit earlier. Mike Sherman calling the plays. He called them last week because of the illness to Tom Rosley. And, you know, talking with Brett Favre, he said it was really great because he had gotten so used to being able to talk to the play caller when Mike Holmgren was the head coach here that last week was nice for him to be able to go and tell him the things that he wanted to do from an offensive standpoint and have those things implemented. And it certainly worked last week, and it's working this week.
Here's Najee Davenport as he runs into Dallas territory. Tom Rosley, of course, the offensive coordinator, who had an angioplasty a couple of weeks ago to unclog a major artery, and returned on Monday. Not really at full strength yet, but Mike Sherman relying on him. But definitely Mike Sherman is the guy calling the plays, and the communication much better down on the sideline. And you look at the successful first half possessions. Second down and 4. Make it 5 on the 49 of the Cowboys, and a fade, and open is Javon Walker. Cowboys unable to stop the Packers from making every big play catch in the game, and that was good as Dixon and Williams make the stop 31 yards.
You know, Roy Williams was supposed to get back and to take the center field position, and he was just late getting there. You see him running desperately over the top. They're trying to disguise their coverage. Brett Favre says, disguise this, and he threw it right in the spot where Roy Williams was supposed to be.
Brett Favre said that there are going to be opportunities. It's like playing street ball. You just got to throw it up and give your receiver an opportunity to make a play, and that's what he did.
The pitch to Green. Green getting inside the 15-yard line. And Nick Lucci, the blocker, up front, the fullback, picking up 4 for Green.
You know, you go back to last week's game for Dallas against Pittsburgh, and in that game, Ben Roethlisberger completed 21 of 25 passes, and he had opportunities for big plays down the field. He just failed to get the ball down the field far enough. Brett Favre, looking at that film, said if they bring pressure on us, we're going to have guys open down the field. I've just got to be able to get the ball there even when I can't set my feet, which is exactly what happened on that previous play.
And the Packers are living in Cowboys territory all day, and Favre getting time, going underneath to Tony Fisher. And the very valuable third down back in his first catch of the day for 4.
You know, if they weren't wearing Dallas Cowboys uniforms, I would not recognize the Dallas Cowboys defense. Remember this team a season ago? When
I don't recognize them even though they are wearing
it. It is unbelievable. I mean, this is a defense that fired bullets left and right. They would blitz here, blitz there, bring people. But right now, you can just tell that they are so uncomfortable. And Mike Zimmer is so uncomfortable with his coverage, he's afraid to do it.
Third down and 2. Davenport leaps for the first down. And, of course, some new faces. Marcellus Wiley, the defensive end, who they hope would demonstrate a pass rush with Greg Ellis on the other end position. They haven't had much of a pass rush this year. And, of course, the injuries to the secondary, obviously not the same defensive team.
Yeah, they brought in Marcellus Wiley to be a dominant figure in the pass rush. He's basically been non-existent through the first half of this season. And you know, big first down right there by the Green Bay Packers, and this is an area where this defense has got to be able to step up. We talked about it earlier. They've not been good in red zone defense all season long. They were not good there in the first half. They have to be able to step up and make a play if this team's going to get back in it.
Darren Woodson not ready yet, 3 weeks away, and here is Tony Fisher. Touchdown pass to Bubba Franks. Nobody covered Franks, and nobody went after Fisher.
That's a bad combination, Dick.
And they still almost messed it up. For the second straight week now, the Green Bay Packers complete a halfback pass for a touchdown. I guess the Cowboys missed that film. They're all going to react up, everybody. Tony says, I think I can do this one. The blimp lands down in Bubba Frank's hands. Can't get much easier than that.
Bubba showed a little agility right there, keeping his feet in.
I missed the Lambeau leap, to tell you the truth. Ryan Longwell with the extra point. First NFL pass for Tony Fisher. And this team is loaded with running backs and backs who can throw to guys like that, Bubba Franks. And the Packers have now opened up a 27-6 lead.
Enter Southwest Airlines, take your team to the Super Bowl sweepstakes, and you could win a trip to the Super Bowl for you and 10 friends.
Oh, how'd he make the list?
Brother-in-law.
Naturally.
Enter at southwest.com/Super Bowl.
Life is a journey. A road that can take you anywhere. Down main streets and over backcountry lanes. Where it goes is up to you. And as long as you keep your promises and never lose sight of your goals, your dreams are just around the corner. Welcome to the next generation of Ford. An unprecedented 6 all-new vehicles. Right here, right now. Ford, built for the road ahead.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 39.
The Lombardi Trophy, 3 of them. Grace Lambeau Field in Green Bay. The Packers leading 27-6, trying to prevent the Cowboys from ever winning here at Lambeau. They've never won in 4 tries. They're trailing big here as Rashard Lee returns the Longwell kickoff to the 25. So everyone is getting into the act for the Green Bay Packers today, getting whatever they want done on offense. Halfback option pass, Fisher, Bubba Franks, no one close to him.
It combines the things you love about a car with the stuff you need from an SUV. The totally new Ford Freestyle. One vehicle, endless possibilities. Ford, built for the road ahead.
You want another bud?
No thanks.
Oh, gotta take this. Watch my beer.
I'd like to see what's going on under that label of yours. Sometimes when I'm drinking my bud, I pretend it's you with all that flavor. You know, a lot of guys don't understand cold filtering. What's up, Kenny? But I know how smooth you are. I'm breaking it off with my beer for you. Maybe I'll just take a little taste right now and then... What?
Hey, parents, are you tired of your kids going over their wireless minutes?
Yeah. And kids, are you tired of your parents hassling you for going over?
Well, now you can relax, because only Sprint got rid of ugly overages. Check it out.
Now families can talk more. Share 800 anytime minutes on 2 lines for just $70 a month. 100 extra minutes for just $5 means no ugly overages. And each additional line is just $10 a month.
You can save money. Thanks. And you can keep talking.
Oh, yeah. Sprint PCS. Now that's better.
So what do you think, sweetie? See-through or red?
Forget the freezer. Get to Chili's for the new Mix and Match Grill. Salmon, steak, chicken, shrimp, or baby back ribs. Your choice of 2, all on one plate. Come on, live a little.
Lambeau Field in Green Bay. The Packers all over the Cowboys. You're watching Fox Sports broadcasting in 720p, the world's finest high-definition standard, and Dolby 5.1. And not much of a running game today. And the ball, let's see if it was blown dead. And it was, as Eddie George was hit by the middle linebacker, Nick Barnett. And again, this has been an exhibit of a sloppy day for the Cowboys. There you see the late hit. The face mask. The bobble deep in their own territory. And failure to hold on to possible interceptions. Just part of the story for the Cowboys' problems as Eddie George dives forward and picks up about a yard. Bao Zhu, who came into play at free safety for the injured Darren Sharper, in a 2-yard pickup.
You know, the other thing that we have to talk about is they push each other around a little bit out there is the fact that the Green Bay Packers defensively have come back from such a horrible position a couple of weeks ago. You watch them against the Tennessee Titans, a team that was really struggling on the offensive side themselves, just get mauled all over the field, and then to come back with back-to-back performances that we've seen is pretty amazing.
And since the first quarter, Green Bay has demolished Dallas as far as the yardage story goes. Flip to Richie Anderson out on the left side. Anderson with a nifty run and gets out close to the 45, and a late flag is thrown up from the secondary. This would be a 16-yard gain, but there's a foul.
Yeah, and that's a flag that came in late. Hard to tell exactly what happened on that play and why a flag would have been thrown.
Illegal block in the back during the run, number 73. 10-yard penalty from this spot on the foul. Still 3rd down.
Veteran Larry Allen, so nothing goes right for the stars on the helmets today.
No, that kind of epitomizes what's happened here for this Dallas team. They finally are able to pick up a big 1st down, and Larry Allen, number 73, as you see him come into your screen, that is a block in the back. Didn't look like he got much of him, but from the official's vantage point, it looked like that was what the impetus was that knocked him down.
When you get a guy that big, you don't have to get a lot of a defensive back. Kind of shot him right across the field.
I got to tell you, Chris, I know last week this defense for Green Bay looked very good against Detroit. I thought it was more a lack of execution on Detroit's part, but they've looked good here today.
Cowboys lost 18 yards as a result of that penalty. Testaverde drills it, caught by Jason Witten, and that'll be the first down, back to just about where that last play to Richie Anderson ended. They get 18 yards, first down to the Dallas 46.
Yeah, and I know we've talked a lot about Terry Glenn not being in the game, but when you came into this game, as far as the real weapons for Dallas, they were Terry Glenn, Keyshawn Johnson, and Jason Witten. And so in a lot of ways, Jason Witten is their third receiver. He's not been a real big part of the game plan in this game, but he is a guy that can get down the field and stretch the defense.
Only his second catch of the game. And here's play action. And crossing pattern to Keyshawn Johnson. And going out of bounds, and a couple of minor near skirmishes on the sideline. A gain of 13 yards. And there's Testaverde, who is yelling.
Keyshawn just going to come all the way across the field. Really very safe, cautious coverage on the part of Al Harris. And if the Cowboys could get themselves in a little rhythm here offensively.
Jason Witten with a little shove.
Well, and that's what got Al Harris up off the ground, shoving Jason Witten.
Why not, though? It's good to see somebody hitting somebody from the Cowboys today.
Mike Wall has his helmet off, but that's okay. He's on the sideline. First down on the 42. Again, play action. Testaverde has his tight end, Jason Witten, with the catch and the touchdown. 42 yards, and the Cowboys showing light for the first time today as Al Harris was beaten by the big tight end.
Well, a good route by Jason Witten. He's going to come in motions. He's going to do a little bit of a double move. He starts to the outside, then takes it to the post. He has position then on Al Harris. The only way Al Harris makes that play is if Vinny Testaverde tries lining one down low. He got it up high for Jason Witten and gets the touchdown.
You just don't expect as a cornerback to see a tight end running a go route on you, and Vinny just drilled it right in there.
Here's Billy Cundit trying to make it a two-touchdown game again, and he does. And the Packers lead now cut to 27-13 as Testaverde, going through the air, has time, has open receivers, and has 6.
Services and technology help the world's great companies face, manage, and love change. HP. Invent.
Cholesterol. It comes grilled, fried, slow cooked, twice baked, poached, and pureed. But it also comes from Mom, Dad, Grandma Ethel, and Grandpa Sam. Your cholesterol doesn't just come from food. It also has a lot to do with family history. Today, there's Vytorin. When diet and exercise aren't enough, adding Vytorin can help. Vytorin is a new product that treats the two sources of cholesterol. Cholesterol from food and the cholesterol your body makes naturally based on family history. Vytorin lowers bad cholesterol 45 to 60%. Vytorin is not for everyone, including people with liver problems, women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. Unexplained muscle pain or weakness could be a sign of a rare but serious side effect. Vytorin may interact with other medicines or certain foods, increasing your risk of getting this serious side effect. Simple blood tests are needed to check for liver problems. Ask your doctor about new Vytorin. Your cholesterol comes from two sources. Treat them both with Vytorin.
We told 12 Ivy League hotshots they were competing for a job with a rich mogul. Welcome to my world. And they bought it. Meet my big, fat, obnoxious boss. When I point to you, speak.
I need to be here because I'm the one that's going to be down here what I did.
Focus. A new con is on. Sunday, November 7th on Fox.
Vinny Testaverde now has thrown a touchdown pass in 9 consecutive games as he found Jason Witten, the tight end, his second TD catch of the campaign, to narrow the gap to 27-13, a 42-yard play. Al Harris beaten there, and got to give the Cowboys somewhat of hope at this point, Troy.
Absolutely. They're still very much alive in this game, only down 2 touchdowns in the middle of the third quarter.
Robert Ferguson at the 3. On the return with Najee Davenport on the block. And a terrific return by Ferguson to the 38-yard line, but the Dallas Cowboys get on the board again when it was all Green Bay. Vinny Testaverde finding the tight end, and Al Harris beaten by the big tight end. So what happens when you're beaten? That's what you're saying.
Combines the things you love about a car with the stuff you need from an SUV. The totally new Ford Freestyle. One vehicle, endless possibilities. Ford, built for the road ahead.
Hello? If you haven't switched to GSM America from AT&T Wireless, you don't know what you're missing.
Gotta go.
Because now our best network ever is even better with more coverage in more places.
Poor guy.
Right now, buy one Motorola color phone for $39.99 and get a second one free.
Glad you called, Dad. Me too. Nice fish.
GSM America from AT&T Wireless. How many bars do you have?
Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL, presents defensive lineman Brenton Buckner, who gets ready for the game with his Visa card and a lot of lip balm. In a remarkable pregame ritual, Brenton kisses his cleats once for every beloved member of his family. His son, Brandon. His mother, Thelma. His wife, Denise. Not his father-in-law, Thomas. He's a Browns fan. He's got his Visa. He's got his lip balm. He's ready.
I got a lot of names.
Visa, get ready for the game.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Ford. 6 all-new vehicles, each built for the road ahead. By Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL, get ready for the game. By HP, services and technology help companies face, manage, and love change. And by AT&T Wireless, experience GSM America. It's our best network ever.
Packers ball on the 37. We'll see how the Cowboys defense responds to the score by the offense. Brett Favre swinging it out to Amon Green and pushed out of bounds by Dexter Coakley after a gain of 6. Well, today's game is being seen around the world on Armed Forces Television, and we want to send our best wishes to the men and women of the 173rd Airborne Brigade, the Sky Soldiers, in Vicenza, Italy. I know you guys join me as well.
Absolutely. Nobody does that better than you either, Dick. I'm telling you, Joe Buck could not match you with that reading that card.
It reeks with insincerity, that last comment, but I accept. Amon Green has to give ground and may pick a yard on the play. Brady James making the tackle. Well, this is Kelly Lazinski, who is a Packers cheerleader from the University of Wisconsin at Green Bay. And her dad is in Iraq. And she's very proud of what he is doing for our country over in Iraq.
Yeah, those guys are just so amazing. And if any of them have gotten a chance to break away and watch some football today, we say God bless you and thank you for all you do.
3rd down and 3 out of the shotgun from the 44. Brett Favre has time. Pass to Ferguson. Ferguson will have the first down. That would have been a very big 3rd down stop had the Cowboys made it, Troy. Instead, 1st down into Dallas territory. And for a game break, let's check in again with James Brown.
Hey, Dick, insincerity from Chris Collinsworth, my old roommate? No. Hey, Troy Aikman's old teammate. You'd have to dust off the film 6 years ago to see Deion Sanders move forward, though. Interception return for a touchdown, a 48-yarder. He had 2 picks today. Baltimore victorious 20-6. Back to Dick, Troy, Chris, and Pam.
I meant it with all the respect in the world there, Dick. I know you know that, right?
I do. I kid you, but I do. Tony Fisher, not much.
You know, I was waiting for a little more special dance from Deion. He had talked about how he had worked one up if he'd ever gotten back into the end zone. That would look like old times right there, that move. I've seen that one a few times.
Go back to Arthur Murray. He's a little out of practice.
You know, he had have been out of action, and when you're on a pregame show on another network, you don't have a chance to strut your stuff that much. So
he did plenty of strutting on that show, believe me. There was no shortage of strutting on that show.
Strutting's never been
God.
As we delve into another topic, 2nd down and 8 at the 46-yard line of the Cowboys. Screen pass to Amon Green, and the Cowboys make a play, and they snuff out what could have been a bigger gain, only 2 yards thanks to Dexter Coakley, and it'll be 3rd down for the Packers on the 44.
I know this is a screen pass here, but I think that the fact that the Cowboys have gotten quite a few sacks this year have been a direct result of the fact that they've been bringing pressure and bringing the blitz. And when you see just this 4-man pass rush for the Dallas Cowboys trying to get pressure, it just doesn't exist. So the problem in the secondary, the problem with coverage now exposes the weakness on the defensive line. It all feeds hand in hand.
And Brett Favre has sure spread it around to 10 different receivers in this game. And there's the slant caught, and that's Javon Walker. He has caught everything thrown his way today. It'll be a 1st down with Tyrone Williams, his former teammate, all over his back.
Yeah, and if you watch the tackle that Tyrone makes on Javon Walker, he has him stopped. But when he makes the tackle and pulls him back, that's when he picks up the 1st down. If he had been able to make the tackle and drive him forward, he would not have been able to get enough yards to pick up that 1st down.
And I don't know why time after time they allow those guys to get off inside on the slants without getting a hand on it.
Pitches to Najee Davenport. And Davenport works his way, and Troy talked about how big he is, getting an extra couple of yards to the 33, and it was that win on the stop, 3-yard gain.
Well, and I think today when the game ends, and if Green Bay goes on to win this game, and you look at one of the main reasons as to why they were able to do that, right now the Green Bay Packers are converting 82% on 3rd down. They are 9 of 11 on 3rd down attempts, and as we've just seen, not all of those have been 3rd and short. 3rd and medium, and even some 3rd and longs they've been able to convert. That's what's kept drives alive, and that's why they've scored.
And they came into the game 3rd in 3rd down conversions, and here's the pass to Donald Driver, and it's a touchdown for Driver. 2 Cowboys had a shot at him, and particularly Terrence Newman, last week's target, 33 yards, and the Packers are elated.
You think Mike Sherman's having any fun out there? A lot more than Terrence Newman is. Watch what happens to the pass rush on this play action. The linebackers suck up. It gives Donald Driver all the time in the world to work all the way across the field. When Brett Favre can stand back there for 4 and 5 seconds, Terrence Newman, Deion Sanders, Lester Hayes, I don't care who it is, he's going to throw touchdown passes. Right now, the defense of the Cowboys is just getting ripped apart.
2nd touchdown pass for Brett Favre. His first was to Javon Walker, and Ryan Longwell with the extra point. And how quickly do the Packers answer the Cowboys touchdown? (34-13).
If you do your best thinking in the shower, imagine how smart you'll get under the new shower heads at Holiday Inn Express.
And these awards for economics, physics, chemistry, literature, and medicine are heavy, huh?
Roll program confirmed.
Houston, problem solved.
Winner is Time Machine.
Did you go to MIT?
No, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
That Abe Lincoln?
That's it. You're going back.
Stay smart. Stay at a Holiday Inn Express.
Dude, Singular's got this great deal. 1,000 nationwide anytime minutes plus rollover for only $39.99.
Wow.
But you gotta hurry.
I'm on it.
Hey, how do I get out of here?
Get Singular's best value ever. 1,000 nationwide anytime minutes with rollover for just $39.99. And get a great deal on this new Motorola camera phone.
I call it my get it while you can plan.
Our best value ever, only from Singular Wireless.
Bud Light, sweet.
I can't believe Gina let you come to the game.
Gina doesn't even know that I'm here. I hired a body double, you know, like the ones they use in the movies.
What? So he looks just like you?
Gina, all of this yard work is making me so sweaty.
Well, then you better go wash up. Jim.
Fresh, smooth, real Bud Light.
You were real tired this afternoon.
Was I? It's all here.
Help
Helping out in the community is what matters to the NFL and the United Way. Get involved in your community. It's what matters.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Budweiser. Enjoy a cold, fresh Budweiser because fresh beer tastes better.
There is all joy in Packerland today as Brett Favre with his second touchdown pass of the game, giving the Packers a 34-13 lead, quickly answering the Dallas score. The Packers, meanwhile, have yet to punt today. It's been a lonely day for Brian Barker. 6 possessions, 6 scores, and the kickoff returned by Rashard Lee. And here is the latest touchdown of the game. Favre to Donald Driver, 33 yards. And for Mike Sherman, who told Pam Oliver in the pregame show, tough to lose at Lambeau, he's on his way to a big win.
Kodiak 450 automatic 4x4 from Yamaha. Now get a $400 worn winch for just $69.95 on select models.
Now every Wendy's Kids meal comes with new choices. Choose mandarin oranges or fries. You can also choose cold, refreshing, low-fat chocolate milk or reduced-fat white milk instead of a soft drink. Wendy's Kids meals, now with new choices that make everyone happy.
White Chicks on DVD Tuesday. These chicks
I think you're flirting with me.
know how to party.
Sorry, they're new.
From the director of Scary Movie. White Chicks on DVD.
You want some of this? I'll take the both of you.
Because leaders are not born, they are made. And they're made just like everything else is made in this country. They're made by a hard effort.
Mike Sherman's Packers have scored every time they've had the ball today. With 3:11 remaining in the third quarter, 34-13. First down at the 28 for the Cowboys. Flip to Richie Anderson. First down for Anderson down the sideline and shoved out of bounds by Bao Hu, not before he picks up 27 on the play.
Richie Anderson had the big touchdown run a week ago, and they just simply outflank him here. Keyshawn Johnson with a nice block in front, nice hold as well. And Richie Anderson busts out of there. You just don't see many explosive plays out of the running game for the Dallas Cowboys. And I tell you, I have to think back to draft day when they passed on Steven Jackson. You watch him now playing with the Rams. I think that kid is going to be a superstar player and could have been their back of the future, and they took a pass.
Well, we don't know yet about Julius Jones. He's been injured all of this season. The jury's still out on him and whether or not that was a good pick.
First down, and Testaverde going deep, trying to get it to Anderson, and it's broken up by Nick Barnett. And right now, let's send it out to Los Angeles. James Brown with some news on NASCAR.
Hey, Dick, and it indeed is a serious news story out of NASCAR. A plane carrying members of the Hendrick Motorsports organization lost contact with the Federal Aviation Administration on its way to a NASCAR race earlier today, and a search is now underway. NASCAR spokesperson Jim Hunter says the National Transportation Safety Board is investigating to see what might have happened. Now, NASCAR officials have spoken with team owner Rick Hendrick, but there are no details about who was on the plane. As soon as we get more details, we'll get them to you. Back to you, Dick.
Thank you, JB, and our thoughts and prayers are with NASCAR. No gain for Richie Anderson.
Boy, how tragic is that? You know, I mean, that's a sport where transportation and flying from event to event is such a big part of it. And They've had their fair share of it in the past as well.
Third down and 10 on the 45 as the Cowboys in Packer territory. And Testaverde under pressure. Incomplete, trying to get it to Jason Witten. Pressure that time by Nick Barnett, who was hoping that he could get close to Testaverde in this game on the pass rush. Fourth down coming up.
Well, Nick Barnett told us yesterday they were going to have some new blitzes up. They run a little twist up front with Kabir Bajabiamila coming up inside. The Cowboys pick it up, but not before it does put some pressure on Vinny Testaverde. He has to throw it sooner than what he wants to. Another missed opportunity for Dallas.
Matt McBriar will punt. Antonio Chapman back deep for the Packers. And Packers coming in looking to block that one, and the fair catch called for by Chapman at the 9-yard line. Minute 38 to go in the third. 34-13. Well, they beat the Yankees in 7 in a great comeback, greatest of all time. But has the curse been lifted and reversed for the Boston Red Sox? Here's Amon Green. Amon Green in a foot race. Tony Dixon, the only one who can try and get him, and they won't. No flags are down, and Green with a big 90-yard touchdown run. Second touchdown of the game for Green, and if the Packers ever wanted to burst out after losing 3 in a row at Lambeau, they've done it today, Troy.
Well, they certainly have. Yeah, Dallas tried making a comeback and cut it to 14, and since that time, Green Bay's just been up and down the field the last 2 possessions.
4th touchdown of the year, and the longest run by far for the Packers. And the Longwell adds the exclamation point, and the Packers lead it now 41-13, their biggest point output of the season.
Well, watch Bubba Franks. He's the one who makes this happen. He comes out on Dexter Coakley. He gets the block. You got Ray Rugemer, the center, coming out. He pushes up to the second level, knocks the linebacker out as well. And then once Amon Green gets out on the edge, it's a foot race, and you're not going to catch Amon Green.
And Robert Ferguson gets the last block down the field, and I think an inexperienced mistake made that time by Brady James at the linebacker position. For some reason, he went way inside the block, and that just left a gaping hole for Amon Green. And for Amon Green, a little redemption. You go all the way back to that game against the Chicago Bears and the fumble that really cost them that game. And all of a sudden, this team appears to have it completely turned around.
Well, what a great job by this Green Bay Packer offensive line. We talk about how solid they are, how athletic they are. Ray Rugemer, their center. We spoke earlier about how he's come in and replaced Mike Flanagan at center. He has continually gotten better. A key block there, and Amon Green was off and running.
And Amon Green breaks Jim Taylor's record with his 27th 100-yard gain. And that's with a sore Achilles tendon, huh?
And these fans here in Green Bay have been waiting a long time this season to let loose a little bit. They're going to enjoy this moment.
You saw Brett Favre mouth, wow. And that says it all for Green and the Pack today.
And Amon Green will do that to you. He'll make a lot of people say, wow.
Good and bad sometimes.
Bouncing the kickoff, Jacques Reeves. Wrestled down at the 22. What a glorious day for the Packers and their fans. as we take a look at some of the early game headliners today. Byron Leftwich going against Peyton Manning. Leftwich the winner with 2 touchdown passes. Mewelde Moore leading Minnesota over Tennessee. T.O. gets 2 more.
And keep that Mewelde Moore's name in mind, even though they have some guys that are going to be coming back, Michael Bennett and company. I think he's won the job. There's a lot of speculation right now that he is the back. They've really been impressed with him in Minnesota.
And I'll tell you, nobody seems to be able to come up with an answer for Terrell Owens.
They tried a couple of banners there in Cleveland today. Did you see it? He didn't like any of the banners they had, so he ripped one of them down after a touchdown.
Handoff to Eddie George, and the Packers, an inspired team right now on both sides of the ball as we check in again with Pam.
All right, Dick, teammates say that perception isn't always the reality when it comes to Keyshawn Johnson, but after the Cowboys came off the field on their last possession, Keyshawn's frustrations began to spill over, I should say. He targeted Sean Payton with a verbal assault. Payton did not return any words, and eventually Keyshawn just had to walk away.
Well, those things kind of happen, and you hope they don't happen with people who have a history of those things. And, of course, Keyshawn Johnson has in Tampa Bay, obviously, with John Gruden, where he was told, go home. He makes this catch for the first down. But, you know what? You want to keep it from simmering over at this point, don't you, Troy?
Well, it's an emotional game, Dick, and these people invest a lot of their time and a lot of energy during the week leading up to a game, and sometimes tempers flare on the sidelines, and you just hope nothing's said in the heat of the battle and in those moments that can't be talked through and when cooler times prevail. But Sean Payton is an outstanding football coach, and Keyshawn Johnson is a tremendous competitor.
And if somebody's going to go home, it should be these Cowboys defense.
Pass caught by Quincy Morgan as time runs out. That's the end of the third quarter with the score. The Packers 41 and the Cowboys 13. The NFL on Fox will continue after a word from your local Fox station.
You're watching the NFL on Fox.
Fact. Chevy has the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. Period. Get the right deal on the right truck right now during the Chevy Right Truck event. Now get $4,500 total cash back on select 2004 Chevy Colorado models with GMAC financing. Hurry, the Chevy Right Truck event ends November 1st. See your select Heartland Chevy dealers today.
My opponent wants you to think I oppose tax cuts. But I voted for over $1 trillion in tax cuts. I voted for tax cuts to reduce the marriage penalty, to increase the child tax credit, and to provide tax incentives for businesses that expand jobs here at home. Tax cuts I've opposed were irresponsible or added to our record deficit, the ones Tim Michels would have rubber stamped. I'm U.S. Senator Russ Feingold, and I approve this message and responsible tax cuts.
Think about the time and labor it's going to take to give this bath a new look. Now consider the costs. Are you thinking there's got to be another way? There is. Call Bath Fitter in West Salem for a beautiful new acrylic bathtub, custom molded to fit perfectly over your old one without disturbing walls, flooring, or plumbing. Have the tiles or walls surrounding your bath seen better days? Bath Fitter can also install a seamless one-piece bath wall from tub to ceiling with no corner joints to caulk. Call Bath Fitter in West Salem today for a new custom molded and fitted tub at a fraction of the cost and labor of remodeling.
Laughter's the best medicine with Friends. Weeknights at 6:30 on Fox 2548.
And we start the fourth quarter with the Packers in front of the Cowboys. And Eddie George diving toward midfield. Dick Stockton along with Troy Aikman, Chris Collinsworth, and Pam Oliver as the Packers try to inch closer to the 500 mark. And for Dallas, they're trying to avoid their fourth loss in 6 games.
I think it's fair to say that Tom Rosley has called his last play of the season. I think Mike Sherman now is the full-time play caller. Amazing. It kind of reminds you a little bit of when Jim Fossil made the guarantee and started calling the plays, and the Giants went on to the Super Bowl that year. It's unbelievable how a little thing can change the momentum of a season. And I think Mike Sherman, the speech he gave before last week's game against the Lions, when he kind of got a little personal in a positive way with a lot of these players and said, you know, I remember back when you did this and you did this, and I know you can do it again. And he had such faith in this football team, and it certainly has been rewarded here in the last couple of weeks.
Remember, Fossil got fired the season later, though.
and Sean Payton was his offensive coordinator at the time.
Prior to the snap, both start on the offense, number 27. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
We don't know exactly what Mike Sherman said, but Pam Oliver on her piece on the Green Bay Packers in our pregame show, talking to players, got the feeling that the word love was used there, and something that Mike Sherman hasn't always expressed to the Green Bay players. And while no one really knew what Mike Sherman said, I thought in Pam's piece we got a sense of how deep Mike Sherman went in talking to his club before last week.
Well, there's no doubt that in that conversation that he had with them, that he was able to reach a lot of people that he probably had not been able to reach before. And I think he showed them some emotion that they didn't know that he necessarily had. And there is no question that this Green Bay Packer team in the history of this storied franchise is extremely important to Mike Sherman.
Cowboys timeout early in the fourth.
What a change.
Oh, my goodness. I'm so happy for her. Look at this.
Introducing the redesigned 2005 Nissan Altima. You might call it an extreme makeover. We call it the 05 Altima. Now with 1,000 cash back or 2% financing, Altima's never been more attractive.
Beautiful.
1,000 cash or 2% at your Nissan dealer now.
Wouldn't it be great if you could pay off all those high-interest credit cards and get extra cash for you? Call AmeriQuest now. We help homeowners do just that by refinancing their mortgage. You'll get your own personal loan specialist who knows you're more than your credit score. Call 1-800-AmeriQuest now or go to AmeriQuest.com. AmeriQuest, the company that knows you are more.
That looks good.
Sure is.
You know, when I was a kid, I didn't get to choose what came in my kids' meal.
Why?
Well, it just came with fries. They didn't offer those juicy little mandarin oranges.
Why?
Well, that's just the way it was. Didn't get to pick between chocolate milk, white milk, or soft drink.
Maybe back then they didn't think you were capable of making an informed decision.
Point taken.
Wendy's Kids Meals, now with new choices that make everyone happy.
Fox NFL Sundays, brought to you by Nissan and your Nissan dealer. By AmeriQuest Mortgage, the company that knows you are more. By America Online. Want a better internet? You belong at America Online. And by Wendy's Kids Meals, now with delicious new choices.
Well, that's a bobblehead doll you won't be able to put on your dashboard.
Yeah, it's $18,000 bobblehead doll. I heard it sold, though. I heard Mike Stevepak purchased it over the weekend.
For cash. First down. Testaverde caught by Witten. Shy of midfield. Won't get much out of it, though. Only 5 yards on the play. And Troy, you touched on it earlier. You know, as far as the Packers are concerned, last week was it the fact that the Lions really didn't show, or do the Packers indicate they're ready to turn it around? And I think this game proves which way we're talking about.
I agree, Dick. I'll be honest with you. Watching that Lions game last week, I really didn't think that the Packers looked any better than what they had in previous games. Even though statistically, and they won the game, statistically it looked dominant, I thought it was more a result of the opponent, but they have played great here today.
So they may be on their way to challenge Minnesota. Second down and 10, and the pass caught by Jason Witten, short of the first down by 1.5 yards.
And you really got it confirmed with the way the Lions turned around and beat the Giants today. And then the Packers came back and put on another performance just like they did against the Lions. So maybe it is all the way turned around. This is a team that got hot in the second half of the season a year ago. And we all know how tough they can be, especially late in the year at Lambeau Field. Pretty remarkable turnaround for a team that appeared to be done a couple of weeks ago.
Remember last year they beat Minnesota on the road in a big comeback and a huge win, and their defense is telling the story, and Nick Barnett stuffed Richie Anderson.
And I really think that we've got to give kudos to Bob Slowick and the job that he has done. Defensive coordinator, first year as defensive coordinator, took over for Ed Donatel. And early in this season, when they were giving up a lot of yards to Chicago, a lot of yards to the Indianapolis Colts, and really just not looking very good defensively, they have regrouped, and he's gotten this group playing at a high level, and they're doing it without a lot of star players.
You know, the interesting part of that, Troy, is that Mike Sherman, by moving away from the defense to the offense, really kind of had to turn it over to Bob Slowick. And in the past couple of weeks, they've gotten much better as well. So maybe just the independence has helped them on defense.
Slowick was with the Cowboys when they won a Super Bowl in '92. He was the nickel package coach for Dave Wanstead.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Hi. Yeah, we're members, and we just had some ideas how to make the internet better.
Okay. Excuse me, there are some members here to see you.
Oh, great. Which ones?
Looks like all of them.
At America Online, when any one of our members has an idea to make the internet better, we listen.
We're going to need some more chairs.
Yeah. Want a better internet? You belong at America Online.
On DVD Tuesday.
Here it comes.
Home, Dawn of the Dead. With terrifying new footage. It's scary as hell.
I don't want to die here.
Dawn of the Dead. Unrated. On DVD Tuesday.
Yeah, having a little car trouble.
I'm State Farm agent Larry Bitterman, and this is a true story.
I was there on vacation, so I called the local State Farm agent.
We're not really sure how the car got into the lake.
Yeah, the map was a disappointment.
They called a local diver, and it turns out that's me too.
I think he started my claim before it even dried off.
We settled it the next day.
Where would I have been without him?
Sunk.
Any insurance company can promise you a good price, but nobody takes care of you like State Farm. We'd love to prove it to you. Call an agent today.
Like a good neighbor.
State Farm is there.
If you can't remember which full-size truck has the best-in-class interior space, best-in-class standard V8 power, and the best-in-class 4x4 towing capacity, remember the Titan. And don't forget $2,000 cash back or 1% financing at your Nissan dealer now. The full-size Nissan Titan. Unforgettable.
Chris Collinsworth checking the moon out. See anything interesting?
Just looking for the Sea of Tranquility up there. Grew up next to Cape Kennedy and watched them shoot off rockets in my backyard. Moving, isn't it, Troy? Hey, we're gripping, man. This is a blowout.
Graduate of Astronaut High School before he went to the University of Florida is Chris Collinsworth, is Najee Davenport, and we have to give kudos to this offensive line. Greg Rugemer at center without Flanagan. Only 1 sack today, 4 on the year.
You know, really, the 1 sack that came in the game was the one that they had the penalty where they grabbed Brett Favre's helmet and got the 15 yards. So even though they got the sack, they got a first down out of the play. Even when things go wrong, they go right for the Packers out here, who now have had 7 possessions, field goal, touchdown, touchdown, field goal, and in this half, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown.
2nd and 8 from the Packer 14, and open is William Henderson, and he is put down hard by Brady James, picking up a yard with 4 minutes gone by here in the 4th quarter, as the Green Bay Packers have led other than the opening 3-pointer of the game. Actually, the Cowboys led 3-0 and then 6-3 after the first quarter before the Packers went to work.
Well, and you look at this Green Bay offense and what they've been able to do throughout this season. This now today is the 5th time in 7 games that they've gone over 400 yards of total offense. That's some teams don't do it all season long.
Inside handoff to Najee Davenport, fights his way to the 20. Will be a couple of yards shy of the first down, and 4th down coming up, and some work today for Brian Barker. First punt for Brian Barker coming up. He could have taken a nap.
Well, he's going to have to take a pay cut.
Dedrick Ward to return for the Cowboys. this one. Ward at the 20. Flag is down, and he'll step out of bounds. What a great punt. 60 yards for Brian Barker.
And we'll give him his money back since he punted that one so well.
Yeah. He heard you were going to cut him, and then he said, wait a second, what about this one?
Yeah, cut this. He saved up for that one, didn't he?
Give him the other $50 now. Got to put that other hand up there.
That's right. One's not enough. Larry Nevers. It'll go against.
During the kick, illegal hands to the face on number 89 of the kicking team. That's a 10-yard penalty. Free kick. Fourth down.
All right, Robert Ferguson, and now he's got to do it again after the 60-yarder.
That was kind of both of them had their hands to the face, and Robert Ferguson was the one that got caught. And
Keith Davis.
You know, Barker's hot right now. You hit a 60-yarder and that baby's coming back. This is usually the ones that go shank off the side of the foot.
If I was hot, I'd be Robert Ferguson. I'd be hot. He got mauled out there, and he's the one who got called.
You know, I was just trying to think back on this game. How many blitzes we think we've seen out of the Dallas Cowboys, a team that probably in the past would have blitzed about 50% of the time, and I can really only remember about a handful, maybe 4 or 5.
Here's Lance Frazier, and Frazier running it into Packer territory. That was a 40-yard kick, so 20 less. To make it worse, Terry Glenn hasn't played today much. He got hurt early. We'll be back.
Wow. Do you know anybody here?
Yes, we're all partners at the firm.
Oh.
Rich. Actually, you look very firm to me.
But not smooth. Hey, I can't believe I ran into you. Excuse us. There's some people you've got to meet.
Thank you.
Smooth.
Who are you?
The waiter. But not rich. Salmon Puff? Michelob Amber Bach. Rich and smooth.
Surviving cancer is still the biggest victory of my life. And I did it with the help of 3 Bristol-Myers Squibb medicines.
Today, Bristol-Myers Squibb researchers are fighting our most serious diseases. Their life-saving medicines have turned many cancer patients into cancer survivors. Medicines for AIDS, heart disease, and serious mental illness reflect their commitment to research and to extending and enhancing human life.
I'm living proof of that. Hope, triumph, and the miracle of medicine. Bristol-Myers Squibb Company.
Thank you for ordering SBC Yahoo DSL. You have a good day, too. Okay. Thank you for calling SBC.
SBC, going beyond the call.
It's alive. Tell all new Simpsons Treehouse of Horror.
Is dinner ready yet? This one keeps eating himself.
Sunday, November 7th, only on Fox. Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by SVC. Going beyond the call.
.9:26 remaining in the game. The Packers lead by 28 points. Cowboys with a first down on the Packer 41.
Terry Glenn with a pain in his foot, and Parcells with a pain in other areas.
Testaverde. And downfield, a flag is down. Jason Witten, who was covered by Torrance Marshall, and makes the catch, and the penalty flag thrown as well downfield.
Yeah, he made the catch. He was in bounds. The penalty's on Torrance Marshall. You're going to see he never gets turned around to play the ball, and you know, that's just a mismatch right there. Not that it's going to affect the outcome of this game.
The rule in the field is an incomplete pass. But we have defensive pass interference on number 51. That's a spot foul, automatic first down.
Incomplete pass.
Wow, I thought that was a catch.
Unless that ball rolled out going to the ground, and we really couldn't see it from that view.
Correction. The pass was complete. The penalty will be declined for defensive pass interference on 51. Take the result of the play. First down.
Yeah, when you have a day like this as a quarterback and a receiver, you at least want to pad your stats a little bit here.
Yeah, Larry Nemmer's having a little bit of a tough day today, too, isn't he?
Yeah, probably go back on the plane with Dallas.
First down with nearly 9 minutes remaining on the 17 of the Packers. Not much of a running game today, and can't just blame the big score. The Cowboys were not effective running the ball. They are on this play as Eddie George rumbles for the first down to the 5, picking up 12. And for the game break, here's JB.
Hey, Dick, Seattle's offense still sputtering, so it was a defense that picked up the pace here. Take a look at Josh McCown of Arizona's pass, picked off by Ken Lucas. He takes it clearly untouched to pay dirt, 21 yards. Seattle out in front now, 17-16 over Arizona. Back to Dick.
All right, JB, and of course the Seahawks trying to regain the NFC West lead with the Rams losing today in a big upset to Miami. It'll be first and goal at the 5-yard line, and Eddie George gets the touchdown. 5-yard touchdown run for Eddie George, and every time Dallas has made a little bit of a run, the Cowboys have answered it in spades. And for George,
you know, it almost looks unusual to see the Cowboys running the ball, doesn't it? I mean, it's just been pass, pass, pass all day long, and when you actually see them just run back-to-back running plays and get something going, you start to think, well, maybe that, but it just hasn't been there this year.
He's averaged 4 yards in this game, under 3.5 going into this contest. Billy Cundiff with the extra point, and it is now 41-20 with 8:19 to go. Cowboys keep driving, but they have a huge hill to climb.
What a change!
Oh my goodness! I'm so happy for her. Look at this! What you get.
Introducing the redesigned 2005 Nissan Altima. You might call it an extreme makeover. We call it the 05 Altima. Now with 1,000 cash back or 2% financing, Altima's never been more attractive.
Beautiful.
1,000 cash or 2% at your Nissan dealer now.
Once in a generation, a new show comes along that's so captivating, its premiere becomes a television event. This year, that show is House.
10 million to one shot. Well, that's what we dealt with here.
The Washington Post declares House is the best hospital show since the debut of ER.
I'm stopping the treatment.
You're risking a patient's life.
House, the series premiere, Tuesday, November 16th on Fox.
Any way you want it, it's the way you need it. Any way you want it.
Never underestimate a parent's ability to mortify his child.
The television phenomenon is back.
Oh my God, the art guy?
On a brand new night.
Will you give me a copy of this document? That's the lunch menu.
The OC season premiere, Thursday, November 4th on Fox.
And the tremendous statue of Vince Lombardi, who really turned the Green Bay Packer, the community-owned team, around in the 60s when he came to Green Bay after being an assistant coach with the New York Giants. Tom Landry was the other coordinator for the New York Giants, and he went on to Dallas. And great success with the Cowboys.
I wonder if Paul Hornung shudders still when he walks by that statue. You know, just kind of
got to have memories. Got to have some memories, Chris. But
intimidating guy, but boy, did he win.
And a great teacher. And he got his message through. Cundiff with the kickoff. Antonio Chapman falls down at the 22-yard line. Eight minutes, 13 seconds remaining in the fourth.
guys on the road a lot? Send your wives pictures with Sprint PCS Vision picture phones. Show them you're working hard. Show them your pretty face. Show them that prize bull. Check it out.
More people use Sprint PCS Vision picture phones than any other to easily share unlimited pictures. Now at Sprint stores, buy one starting at $29.99.
Just point and shoot. We know how to do that.
Sprint PCS. Now that's better.
Special delivery, ladies.
Well, look who's here.
Got your fresh beer right here. What do you got?
I got intentional taste mask. All American brewed beers are fresh. This guy's hiding something.
Illegal use of the hand truck. Distributing beer with less taste.
Replace it with Miller Lite.
More taste.
Half the carbs.
You can't flag the king. Right. Okay, we got multiple penalties on Dan. Intentional
Miller.
face mask.
Good call.
Illegal use of the hand truck.
To be absolutely sure, I'm getting the lowest prices on electronics. I feel like I need a sign from above. That'll work.
I guess you're just what I needed.
At Circuit City, you'll find unbeatable prices guaranteed every day. So you can always leave confident knowing you got the best price.
You're just what I needed.
Circuit City.
Well, next week, the NFL on Fox with 4 games in the early time slot. It all begins with the pregame show at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. And the 4 o'clock games presented in Fox Sports High Definition.
I'm looking forward to watching that Vikings team be our first trip in there, and they're scoring just a ton of points this season, with or without Randy Moss.
Well, they're doing a lot right, and if they can keep teams off the board to an extent, they should outscore teams. I don't know if that will do it in the long run, but it's worked so far. First down and Najee Davenport for a couple of yards. We showed Vince Lombardi, the big statue there, and of course the Packers and the Cowboys started what had been a great tradition back in 1967 in the Ice Bowl, and that was not for the Super Bowls. Before that, the NFL championship game.
You know what I learned this week? It was in the team notes that Bart Starr, that famous quarterback sneak in the Ice Bowl to win it, he was actually supposed to hand the thing off, but the running backs had had such a trouble slipping and falling on the prior plays. He said, "The heck with that," took it himself and made a little history.
And Brett Favre flips it out to William Henderson, and Henderson is tackled at the 42. And in that broadcast with Jack Buck, one of the greats of all time, Ray Scott and Frank Gifford, and here's how it sounded.
To my right is Jack Buck, who calls the plays for the Dallas Cowboys, and you'll be hearing Jack during the second half. Jack, your thoughts here as we're moments away from the kickoff.
I think it's very cold, Ray.
Well, Ray, the temperature is around 13 degrees. There's a wind from 10 to 18.
13, is that above or below?
That's below zero. And the wind is from about 10 to 18 miles out of the northwest.
And it was cold, and this was the touchdown you were talking about. Jerry Kramer blocking for Bart Starr, and the Packers won a great game. It was known as the Ice Bowl, and if you go to the Hall of Fame, like the little kids are doing, they recreate the Ice Bowl, yes, and touching the players who played in that Ice Bowl. And Jack Buck, of course, the father of Joe Buck, who works with you guys, great broadcaster. Ray Scott, who was a longtime Packer play-by-play announcer, and the legendary Frank Gifford, who starred with the New York Giants.
And what a great job.
Right there.
That was it, right there. And what a great job the Packers did on that museum and their Hall of Fame to recognize the great players that have come through here and played for them.
Second down and 7, and the out is caught by Javon Walker, and a flag is on the play. And of course, that museum is all part of what a great showpiece Lambeau Field has become for people not only to watch football, but to get other aspects as well for their enjoyment.
Well, it's a destination
Illegal contact on the defense, number 41. Penalty is declined. Result of the play, first down.
Yeah, it's become a destination point, Dick, for all the fans that come through here, not only on game days, but throughout the year, that want to be a part of seeing the great history of this organization. And we can't talk enough about the job that they did when they refurbished this stadium and It's really something to see, and if you get a chance to come through Green Bay, Wisconsin, you should stop by and take a look, because it's certainly worth seeing if you're an NFL fan.
Yeah, it's an entertainment center, really. I mean, Packers play here. Got all the great facilities.
And it's indoors, which is really nice.
The entertainment part is 7 catches for 119 yards today for Javon Walker, who also caught a touchdown pass in the second quarter. So a big day for Walker and the Green Bay offense.
It was so interesting watching the first game of the World Series last night, and with all the offensive firepower, when Boston got up 7-2, I remember turning to the guys around me and said, this one is a long way from over, and it sure was. They were scoring runs at a rapid pace.
First down, Najee Davenport breaks a couple. Flag is down from the backfield. Davenport with a big run inside the 25, but there's another penalty.
Offense, 68. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
And that's Mike Wall, and Marco Rivera came out of the game, and Mark Tauscher moved to the right guard spot, and Kevin Barry to the right tackle spot, as changes because of injury perhaps in the offensive line for the Pack.
Mike Wall's going to pull out and do a nice little form tackle right there to pick up the penalty. And for Mike Wall, still hard to believe that he used to be a wide receiver when he was at the Naval Academy, and literally put on like 80 pounds to become a guard and put some tattoos on his arms, and now he's out pulling and tackling guys on the play.
So it'll be first down and 17 back on the 45, and Favre completes to Walker, and Walker is dropped at the 36, picking up 9 yards, under 5 minutes remaining in the fourth.
I thought it was interesting talking to Brett Favre prior to the game, and we were talking about last year and in the playoff games and some of the things that they did, and you know, Brett Favre felt that they got a little conservative offensively in the second half in that game against the Philadelphia Eagles, and here they are up 21 with under 5 minutes to play in the game, and yet they're still throwing the ball. And Mike Sherman, as we've talked about, this is his second game to be calling plays. Certainly not being conservative here in this game.
No, Troy, he's not going in the shell at all. Second down and 7. He's running the offense, and here's Davenport off the left side, and stopped by Leonardo Carson. Big day today, of course, for Amon Green. 163 yards and a 90-yard touchdown, one of 2 he scored today.
And Chris, you talked earlier about the lack of blitzing by the Cowboys defense, and then you beg to ask the question, why didn't they sign Mario Edwards last year at corner? That's one of the reasons why they haven't been able to blitz. And then the pickup of Marcellus Wiley, who was supposed to be able to provide a lot more pass rush, and he certainly hasn't been able to do that. A lot of moves that they made this past offseason certainly come into question.
Only 3 blitzes for the Cowboys all day. Third down and 7. Favre dropped, and it was Walker. That's the first drop he had, and if you're going to drop one, now's the time.
Yeah, it may have been tipped on the play too. It looked like one of the Cowboys ran underneath it. But Troy, I've just got to say that I don't think the Cowboys are talented enough physically to just line up and play, and that's essentially what they've tried to do against the Green Bay Packers today, is just line up, play man on man, win the battles at the line of scrimmage, and they've been whipped almost everywhere. I mean, I've just never seen a game in which you sort of come into the game plan and you say, all right, we're going to try this, and they tried a couple blitzes and got burned, and then just for the rest of the game completely abandoned it and just tried to match up, and they certainly cannot match up with this offensive line from Green Bay.
Prior to the ball being snapped, false start on the offense, number 26. 5-yard penalty, still fourth down.
So they'll kick it again, and of course it was interesting talking to Bill Parcells, Troy, when he said, you know, we can get to 4-4, and he's got 3 games. He's got this game, of course, today, and he's going down here. Then he's got the Detroit Lions and the Cincinnati Bengals, so he said he would basically be happy being a 500 team at the midway.
Well, he spoke so much about getting to 4-4, and the team was 2-3 coming into this game. So then you say, well, you know, what game are you planning on losing? Maybe this was that game. I don't know.
Maybe he knew something we didn't.
And the Packers trying to down it at the 1, and they do. Joey Thomas makes a big play at the 1, and it shows that the Packers still playing perhaps like it's a 0-0 game. Keeping his balance and staying in play. Well, Bill Parcells, after the quick start last year, remember 5-1 after the first 6 games. And then since then, they are 7-9, and you can see the output drop and the turnover differential big time. And this is Parcells' first time he's faced the Packers since Green Bay won that Super Bowl when he was head coach of the Patriots in Super Bowl 31. Testaverde completing to Quincy Morgan, and good for 8 yards.
You know, and I think the Cowboys right now have to take a long look at what they're doing on offense as well, because if you're going to be a team that is not going to be explosive and get turnovers on the defensive side, they may have to reel it back in a little bit offensively too. I know the running game hasn't been much to speak of, but you do have Flozell Adams, you have Larry Allen over on that left side. They have to establish something running the football to set up their passing game, and right now they have nothing.
Here's Jason Witten. Good move by the tight end as he gets the first down out to the 15-yard line. But defensively, the Dallas Cowboys nowhere to be seen this afternoon.
No, they haven't. And they're just a team that really is playing without an identity. You know, that's basically what we've said throughout this game. You just don't know exactly what it is that they feel that they can hang their hat on. Last year, it certainly was their defensive play. But this year, that hasn't happened. Offensively, they've been relatively inconsistent. And it seems to change from one game to the next as far as what they do best.
They do move the ball. Testaverde over 300 yards, and this one thrown away. Flag coming down on the near sideline. 2 seconds away from the 2-minute warning.
Holding, defense number 28. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's the rookie Ahmad Carroll holding, and there you see Quincy Morgan limping as he comes off. Newcomer from the Cleveland Browns.
Maybe the Cleveland Browns knew something about Quincy Morgan's hamstrings that the Cowboys didn't know. Well, he has gone from bad to worse. They've already lost Terry Glenn with a foot injury, and the guy they picked up, Quincy Morgan, he looks like he's out. They're kind of down to Keyshawn Johnson, Jason Witten, and a couple of prayers.
First down at the 19. Testaverde. Witten makes the grab, tackled by Joey Thomas. 2-minute warning. We'll be right back to Lambeau after this.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Sprint PCS Picture Mail. It's easy for football fans to shoot, send, and share football moments.
You guys on the road a lot? Send your wives pictures with Sprint PCS Vision picture phones. Show them you're working hard. Show them your pretty face. Show them that prize bull. Check it out.
More people use Sprint PCS Vision picture phones than any other to easily share unlimited pictures. Now at Sprint stores, buy one starting at $29.99.
Just point and shoot.
We know how to do that.
Sprint PCS. Now that's better.
No.
Yes, I'd like to redeem my credit card miles. Flight to Denver.
No.
LA?
No.
Fresno?
Where?
Fresno.
I'll
fly out Wednesday.
That's gonna be a no.
Thursday?
All blacked out.
I'll take the red eye.
No.
No.
No. How about Friday?
Sure.
No.
Go from no to no hassle with Capital One No Hassle Rewards. Fly any airline anytime with no blackout dates. Capital One No Hassle Rewards.
I'm calling Capital One.
No. Oh, no. Hey, what's in your wallet?
If you can't remember which full-size truck has the best-in-class interior space, best-in-class standard V8 power, and the best-in-class 4x4 towing capacity, remember the Titan. And don't forget $2,000 cash back or 1% financing at your Nissan dealer now. The full-size Nissan Titan. Unforgettable.
2-minute warning, and the Packers leading 41-20. A lot of action still to be played around the NFL. Seattle and Arizona Oakland and New Orleans going at it. We'll try to get you to one of those games after this one is history.
That's a big game for Seattle after losing a couple in a row. They really need to get back on track, a game they should win in Arizona.
2nd down and 3 on the 26. Testaverde can't wait anymore. Cullen Jenkins. And that is the 2nd sack of the day for the Packers defense.
And they were able to finally get some pressure on a quarterback, only rushing 4 guys. Cullen Jenkins collapsed in the pocket, doing a good job of getting in there. Of course, Vinny Testaverde waiting on a receiver to get open. But a good job up front defensively by Green Bay.
2nd down.
Really pretty good protection on the play. You can't ask for much more time than this. And for Vinny, they're just nowhere to go. Everybody triple covered. The receivers kind of giving up on the play. And then he said, why am I driving myself crazy?
And a right ankle injury is the story on Marco Rivera.
And that would be a huge loss if they lose him on the offensive line.
They've already lost Flanagan. The line has played good despite that. And now you lose Marco Rivera, and that'll really put a crimp in the offense of the Green Bay Packers.
You know, I really think this game, from the very beginning, the tone was set by Grady Jackson, who came back and made his first start. Big Grady comes in there, and he was making all the plays as the Cowboys started trying to run the football early in the game. Grady said, I don't think so. Got some decent pressure up front as well, swatted some balls down. He plays well, and he looks good, Troy.
He is a good-looking guy.
Sir, he can slam dunk a basketball, too. Remember he told us that?
I tell you, he's an athletic guy.
Yes.
So we'll give a game ball to Grady. That's what you'd like. Antonio Chapman.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. We'll give him the game ball.
Look at him.
Back in action after getting hurt first week of the season. And the question is that the Green Bay Packers, who beat a weak Detroit team, although the Lions beat the Giants today, who were 4-1, have the Packers turned it around? And the question is, are they ready to make a bid on the Vikings?
Well, yeah, I think you got to feel pretty good about it. I mean, right now they come into this game 2-4. They win this game, they're 3-4, and then of course they go to Washington and have the Redskins, and then they have a bye week, so that helps them. And then they got a big game against the Vikings at home. But you know, for a team that was in such disarray not too long ago, I mean, they have done the right things and appear to be a team that can definitely get right back in the hunt.
And the Green Bay Packers, of course, the Dallas Cowboys now will be trailing. They'll go now to 2-4 on the season. And it's going to be a long haul for Bill Parcells' club. And injuries all over the place.
A couple of winnable games, though, coming up for them. It's conceivable they could get back to 500. But this really is a team that I think has to take a long look at itself and what they're doing. They've decided to back off their blitzing scheme that they've used in the past with good reason, because their corners didn't hold up. They've sort of backed off their running game with good reason, because they haven't been able to run the football very effectively. But Vinny Testaverde, as good a player as he is not a guy that's going to carry this team to the playoffs.
Let's get to a game break real quick. Nope, we're going to hold it right here. That is going to be the last play of the game. Brett Favre and the Packers win again. They have scored 79 points in the last 2 games after scoring 72 in the first 4. Their offense is going, and they chewed up the defense of Bill Parcells' team, and the Packers will win 41-20. Green Bay going to 3-4 on the year, and the Cowboys dropping to 2-4 on the season. And so the Cowboys still have never won at Lambeau Field.
Well, there were so many good performances by so many people that Brett Favre's performance in a lot of ways got lost. He was 23 of 29 for 258 yards with 2 touchdowns and no interceptions, and just a great performance by a lot of players and a nice win for this Green Bay Packer team.
Yeah, and I think Amon Green, now that they have that running game going, is going to open up everything for Brett Favre in the passing game. The couple of games that they lost, and it looked so bad. They were behind early because the defense gave up so many points, but now they're back in their style of play, where they're running, where they're doing the bootlegs, where they're doing the play action. This now looks like the Green Bay Packers that we saw at the end of last season.
And they win their first game of the season at Lambeau, as you mentioned, going to Washington, then the bye, and then the home game with Minnesota, on the road at Houston, and home with St. Louis. As today, Brett Favre throws 2 touchdown passes. Ahman Green scores twice, once from 90 yards out, and the Green Bay Packers scoring on the first 7 possessions of the game to romp. So that's the story here for Troy Aikman, Chris Collinsworth, and Pam Oliver. Dick Stockton now sending you to the finish of the New Orleans-Oakland game. To Ron Pitts and Tim Ryan.
Ron Pitts, Tim Ryan, we'd like to welcome in all of you watching the Dallas